Hola a todos, estoy aquí para comunicaros que
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Ready? Play.
You've been to the French Open final. Your breakthrough, at least standout result at the beginning of your career, was on grass against Venus. You've been very solid on the hard courts. Is there a slam in particular that you go, I think that's, if I'm going to get one, the first one might come here, there, or where?
Well, I don't know. I mean, everyone, I'm like, I think this is the first one, so I don't know. I mean, obviously now going to the French, I do have a lot of confidence on the surface, but I'm not really thinking about that. I feel like, in the past I was, and it gave me some, like, defeats that I feel like I shouldn't have lost, maybe more so my head. So going in now, I mean, I feel like, everyone could be the one, but I think I have to just take it a match at a time and just feel it out and enjoy it. I think when you focus too much on the destination, you don't enjoy the journey there. So now I want to focus more on the journey, and if the destination gets there, that's great.
As far as Swiatek goes, she did go 2-1. She did pull off that Krejcikova comeback, which she can be proud of. She had a really good performance today, obviously in a head-to-head that's very favorable for her in a matchup generally that she's owned now the last 6 times. And then it kind of wasn't in her control with Gauff and Krejcikova. And yeah, Krejcikova
she didn't know while playing, right? She didn't know this while playing, which is insane.
Yes. There was that clip that was circulating by, I think, Rima Valero on Twitter. But yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of rare to be eliminated with a 2-1 record on the WTA. I think it happened Puskova maybe 2021. I remember she went 2-1, didn't get out of the group. Ivanovic 2014, I think, same thing, but like it's not very common.
Yeah, I think for me, I probably expected a bit more generally from both Swiatek and Rybakina. I don't know. I guess I was just thinking that, like, based on quality, this is, by the way, not WTA, but WTA Finals Riyadh. Like, WTA had, posted before that this match doesn't matter. And of course, this is a very different account just of the event. But yeah, I mean, it is funny, it's not even like the qualification scenario was, I guess, a little complicated because you had Pegula there earlier, and like that match actually could have mattered. But I think even with Pegula in there, like even if Swiatek was playing Pegula, then she actually, like, the win wouldn't give her all that much. Anyway, that's not surprise. That's not the point right now. But yeah, both Rybakina and Swiatek, I was just thinking that maybe based on quality alone, they were going to look a little bit better despite not playing for 2 months. And well, both of them were rusty as hell. Of course, Iga played a very good match today, but it was against an opponent she feels super comfortable facing. Also, Rybakina won a match against Sabalenka, but it was like a semi-dead rubber for Aryna. I mean, she already won the group, so I guess it was a full-on dead rubber, not counting the 200 points and the prize money. So I think Elena also underwhelmed slightly, I think. And on the other hand, I kind of have to congratulate and eat my words a bit Jasmine Paolini. I mean, yeah, sure, today she was outmatched, but she was not outmatched, or yesterday she was outmatched, but she wasn't outmatched in 3 matches, as I maybe would have suspected. She had these set points against Aryna, which if she took them, she could have like really changed the script for that group. and obviously beating Rybakina in the first match, even if she was coming back after 2 months out. I think Jasmine played a very solid, effective match, and yeah, just did so much better than I anticipated. So that's good. And of course, you already mentioned Pegula. That was kind of one of the players we're thinking could be a dark horse here. Sure, she usually doesn't handle indoor conditions too well for whatever reason, because her game should suit it. But yeah, still, to see her go out like this was unexpected for sure.
Yeah, I would say I also didn't expect. I wasn't that surprised that Gauff beat Swiatek, as I thought that might happen beforehand. But I was surprised that it was straight sets for sure. I think that ended up hurting Iga as well. That she couldn't win that second set somehow. But
interesting.
Ready? Play.
Back up from Sabalenka into the net, and there we go. Coco Gauff is through to the final of the WTA WTA finals in 2024. She will be taking on Qinwen Zheng in that final that will be taking place tomorrow after, well, what was certainly a nervy, bitty, all sortsy sort of ending that you could say to that match. And wow, what a contest that was. And we should hopefully have a Mario entering the room at any given point for that. And here he is. Hey, Mario.
It's been quite a roller coaster of a match, actually. I mean, it's not probably so surprising that we got this final. I mean, considering also the form these two players are in. And, well, I've seen the match. I mean, Sabalenka has looked a little bit tired also, maybe, in these couple of last matches that she played here at the WTA finals. Wasn't really, brilliant as, she's been in, we've been used to seeing her being in the last, 3-4 months. But, yeah, I mean, it's also been a great performance from Coco Gauff, who's really, turning the tables around this year, because after the US Open, her season was still going, much better than most of the players, but considering the expectations, it was going, not as good as many people could have thought at the end of last year. But, well, with these results, winning the WTA 1000, now the final, I mean, Coco is always a pretty tough matchup for Sabalenka. I don't know if you agree also, because, if there's probably one thing that Coco can do probably better than anybody else on the tour is, this ability that she's also shown today of staying in the rally so much. She's so, athletic. She incredible in, also absorbing Sabalenka's power, and not many players are able to do it. I think nobody almost, especially in these kind of conditions, while Coco, has this unbelievably able to do all what she knows in order to put Sabalenka into a difficult position, and actually beating both Iga and Arena in the same tournament for her is actually such an amazing feat, because first of all, it's the first time it happens over the course of the same week. I mean, she beat Iga also during that incredible summer that she had, where she also beat Arena in the US Open final. But I mean, Arena, I think she was also probably a bit tired, because we've also seen this emotionally, she wasn't really ready to, I mean, she has put up a fight after that tough moment in the middle of the second set. She still has put up a fight, not wanting to let the match go. But my opinion is that she didn't have enough, to do this against a player like Coco, where you have to really, green, in an exceptional way.
No, I tend to agree that ability for, as you're saying at the start, that ability for her to be able to sort of soak up so much of the pressure that Sabalenka puts on you.
Play.
Oh, we're here already. Yes, that is not an incredible ability you have. That is just something that is very easily spottable. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, hello Vansh, and yes, of course, the WTA finals. Final sick. I hate saying that. I hate writing that even more. But here we are, Coco Gauff against Qinwen Zheng, and of course they're gonna play in a few minutes. I don't know if we have Vansh around or not. He does not seem to be attentive. I don't think he was aware of that he was gonna go on stream or something. I don't know. Anyway, well, for now, I can tell you that I'm a bit busy here, so I was actually hoping that he was going to say something. Of course, everything is finishing at the same time. That's Nishikori's Helsinki semi and Shapovalov beating Medvedev in the Belgrade final. Varsh is no doubt very busy watching Cam Norrie in Metz, playing against Benjamin Bonzi in that final, of course. And well, I don't know when he's going to be around with us, but this is pretty funny. What I also found pretty funny was actually the Mario Balotelli thing earlier. I really can't be talking right now, so I don't know. This is an absolute failure. Hey Vansh, are you there? Or you can hear something as well. I think that's like lightly in the background, but I don't know.
I'll take him out. I have told him we're live, but yeah. Anyway, no problem. There is a question here in the live chat. I think I can at least begin by taking it. Do I see? I do see Qinwen as being a mainstay now in the top 5. Like I was talking with James yesterday about potential players that could drop out from the ATP Finals 8. And for me, there's 5 vulnerable players. On the WTA side, I don't see quite so many vulnerable. I think it's a more justified, let's say, group of 8. It feels like at least 6 of the 8 feels like they're probably going to be back again and again, and she's definitely in that group. Do I quite see her having a Sinner-like year? Well, I'm not sure about that. Vanch, can you hear us?
Yes. Sorry, I lost you guys for a bit, but I'm here. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Just talk.
Okay. Yes.
There's a question here for you, Vanch, anyway, about Qinwen Zheng. Do we see her being able to be sort of like Sinner-like dominance from her maybe in years to come?
I definitely think she's taken that step up and improved incrementally year after year. Whether it's going to be a Sinner-like progression, I don't know. I still think that was still quite meteoric in some ways. Even though like he did make those gains throughout 2023, I just don't know if Zheng will be able to perform like that at all the 4 majors and all the big events. I think she'll definitely have her moments. I think it's very likely we see her again in the top 5, finish the year. So I think it's more just going to be a continuation. I expect her to have a stronger second half again, because that tends to be normally where she shines in like all the Asian events and towards the end of the year. And yeah, I don't know whether she'll get to the Australian Open final again or do something similar. Perhaps maybe win a slam. I'm not so sure, but I expect her to be hold kind of steady where she's at right now. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, saying that, I mean, comparing her to Sinner is pretty rough for now. I think that's yeah, that's just not gonna happen at all. I don't think she's gonna be at that level of domination because, well, one thing, it's extremely hard to get to that. Second of all, I just don't think she matches up that well against some of the other competitors that we have at the top, like Sabalenka, like Świątek, like even Rybakina, despite beating her. Against Coco Gauff, I guess we'll see. This is going to be the second match, of course, the only that they play. So I guess we don't really have all that much intel about their rivalry for years to come and everything. But yeah, that's kind of where I stand. I don't think Qinwen has made progress like this. It would be good for her next year, though, to be maybe a bit more of a stable competitor, the entire season. The thing is that this year, even if the Olympics, of course, they don't give points, but like she had the gold medal, she had the Australian Open final, but post US Open, she was like nowhere near guaranteed to make the WTA finals, and she needed an awesome, like a really awesome Asian swing to get there. So I think it would be a good goal for her to maybe be there a little bit earlier next year. I'm not saying she has to qualify by like Wimbledon or something like that, but just have a more solid season where she doesn't need to make this like one big final push, sort of like, I don't know, like a Pegula did, or like even like a Gauff did, actually, because Gauff, of course, before the Asian swing also didn't have like any massive major results this year, I guess. But still was more consistent than Qinwen and was higher in the race. So maybe if she can do that next year, that would be something impressive from my perspective. I think John mentioned something interesting about like the players that he's expecting they will be in the WTA finals next year. I think Qinwen is in that group, but she's not like fully in that group. She's not exactly hanging on by a thread, but she's not quite up there with Sabalenka, Świątek, healthy Rybakina, Gauff, who we kind of like would be shocked to see if they bomb and if they just don't make the finals next year.
Yeah, I think of those names, she's probably at the top of like the next group, right? She's probably at the top of like maybe like if you were to do like a tier 2.
I could have her higher than Pegula even, I think.
Yeah. And by the way, yes, Shapovalov just won his second career title. So first title for him in 5 years, which is obviously massive because it's not like he hasn't had some memorable moments the last 5 years. He has, right? Wimbledon semifinal, Australian Open quarters, US Open quarters, obviously led Canada to, well, I wouldn't say led, but was part of the squad that, got the Davis Cup triumph in 2022, also the ATP Cup in 2020. Like he's had some wins and moments, and he's also had injuries. So 5 years later, he grabs his second career title, and I think he's back in the top 60 now. So kind of pushing more, back towards where he was once at. But it's been a long road back for Shapo. So
I just tweeted something like this, basically, that like, it might not seem huge. In fact, it doesn't seem huge to me either. Like the fact that he wins at 250, given his potential level, and kind of the fact that he was a stable top 20 player for 4 years, and basically before he got injured, he was still very high in the rankings. So it doesn't seem huge, but at the same time it is, because it's been 5 years, because it's been a lot of heartbreak in finals, some even at the higher level than 250, right? I think he had a 500 final in the meantime in Vienna, and the 1000 final in Paris. Well, that 1000 final, I guess, was just after Stockholm, so it wasn't maybe that big a deal at the time. But I think after this season as well, where he's back in the top 100, but that was like always a guarantee. He doesn't actually do all that much above it. And right now to get this just before the season is over, of course, he will still play Davis Cup finals, but to get this just before the season is over is absolutely massive and should be a really good like confidence boost going into 2025.
Yes, indeed. And this match has started, and Zheng, who's serving first. She has a couple of game points now. Were you impressed by Gauff this week? Wins over Sabalenka, Świątek, becomes the first player since Rybakina to beat both those players in the same tournament, but also just kind of the manner in which she was able to break Sabalenka down. Sabalenka serving for that first set. It was kind of an inverse of their Australian Open semifinal in many respects.
Yeah, but in that Australian Open semi-final, there was a similar patch from Sabalenka in the first set as well, right?
Yes, she was up 5-2. That's the difference.
5-3, 30-15 then, I think, and then she like can't hit a ball inside the court for 3 games, and that's kind of what happened here too. I think this was definitely a couple of like Brad Gilbert-ish wins in many ways. Not the first set against Świątek, but the second one. It was win ugly, and Sabalenka was win ugly as well. But I mean, yeah, is it impressive? Of course, to beat both of them in the same event. This is something that you have to aspire to win events like this. Of course, Qinwen, if she wins an event like this, she won't actually have to go through either player, which is also fine. I think her route has also been impressive. But if she is able to like wrap it up right now, that would be, well, the second biggest title of her career. I think just that no consideration really. Even if some people are saying that like WTA finals, they're not that important or something, I guess it's a matter of opinion. But if you do it like this, yeah, then absolutely it would be just behind her US Open title for me.
Yep. Obviously, these two players are kind of similar in some respects. I mean, they both have that kind of they both have that Western forehand grip. They're both, obviously pretty fast, really athletic around the court. And yeah, they both have a big first serve. Although Qinwen probably has maybe the second best serve in all of women's tennis right now. Put her just behind Rybakina.
Yeah, I think I mean, I was writing a preview for a Polish website for this match, and I kind of said something similar as well, that they're similar in a couple of things. One of them being the forehand and how it likes more time, but they have adapted pretty well this week to the conditions in Riyadh. And also, of course, yeah, the serving style kind of being more about that first serve velocity without that much like consistency on it. Maybe the double faults are kind of more Coco's domain, but at the same time, of course, Zheng has the ball toss issues. So I think, yeah, there are definitely some similarities in how they play, even if the styles in general are very contrasting too. I mean, Zheng is an attacking player. Gauff likes to be on the back foot a bit more, I guess. But yeah, these similarities definitely appear, and they make it so that like they have similar preferences in terms of the chords generally.
Yes, indeed. And also we have a break point now for Gauff, who's made a couple of tough returns, gotten into some extended points here early. And Zheng will have to hit a second serve break point down. I was looking at the stats between Rybakina and Zheng just to see, if my eye test was right. And yeah, I think the main difference is Rybakina makes like 61% of her first serves. Zheng is at like 52%. So if she gets that number up a little bit more, and I think their ace rates are pretty comparable. The rest is kind of similar-ish as well. This was a really good point there from Zheng. Save break point. That's nice serve out wide. Kick serve. Followed by the inside-out forehand winner. Gauff has also been returning pretty well all week, and also in general the whole year. She's one of the best returners, no doubt. Getting a lot of errors off the third shot from her opponents, particularly Świątek and Sabalenka.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that kind of comparison of the stat screens after these two matches, but they looked pretty much like the same. Świątek, Sabalenka, and their winners on first errors, even some similarities in how much they were winning on serve. Pretty much very similar performances. I think the first set against Świątek was probably the best one that Gauff played in that 4-set stretch, but at the same time I would say maybe the second set against Świątek was the worst one she played, so it evens out.
Yeah, I see a shot on my screen that Gauff is returning from 6 feet behind the baseline. She's made 82% of her returns, and on the second serve she's only a little bit ahead at like 4 feet or 5 feet. So she's relied on her deeper return position, not necessarily hugging the baseline, allowing herself to give her more time. Perhaps that improves the forehand as well. Allows her to get that little extra shape and loop. Of course, these two also met in the Orange Bowl final in 2018. And that was actually won by Zheng in 3 sets. So kind of the biggest junior event and then the biggest WTA event now 6 years later. Yes. A pretty easy hold for Gauff here. Good start to her serve. Right now, this is not the only tennis match happening. We also have the Mets final happening right now between Benjamin Bonzi and Cameron Norrie. And
We have about 100 other matches as well happening. Max Hans Rebeck just saved a match point against Kei Nishikori in the Helsinki semifinal.
Oh yeah, Kei Nishikori. Yes, he's in the.
And they're into the third set.
Okay.
But yeah,
No,
I know
he-
you had to mention Cameron Norrie. We actually were there first because we did already mention Cameron Norrie when you weren't. When you were on the stream, but you weren't aware that you were on the stream. We did actually mention Cam Norrie because I just said, Vansh is probably super busy watching that Mets final at the moment.
Well, I'm super busy watching Cameron Norrie struggle to take a break point in this 9th game, while simultaneously watching this Zheng versus Gauff match. And I'm gonna guess, yeah, you also have Kei Nishikori up on your screen right now in the semifinals of Helsinki.
Yeah, I'm not watching the Mets final. Everything was, of course, happening at the same time, basically, and I'm still trying to. I'm still trying to weather the storm, let's say, but I should be able to start actually watching Gauff Zheng in a couple of minutes. Vansh, do you feel like you are the king of apples to oranges comparisons? Says Nurlan.
Sometimes I make too many comparisons, I'm told. So it is possible that some of them fall in that category, Nurlan. But in general, I try not to. It's just I like making a lot of these, tennis parallels and comps. Some of them are just flat out insane. Some of them are actually, somewhat worth it. This is also the second year in a row that Gauff will finish the year inside the top 3. As if Qinwen wins this match, he will move up to number 4. So, yeah. But Gauff, no matter what, will finish the year 3rd. Obviously, Sabalenka and Swiatek, they still have that same point difference that they had before the tournament. Because they each went...
Yeah, and it actually makes you think, right? Because if Iga was going to beat Coco Gauff, and if Arena was going to still lose the next 2 matches, then maybe by Sunday we still have, a conversation as to who's going to finish number 1. But truthfully, I think that Arena deserved it. I mean, 2 slams over 1. Well, maybe it's a strange way to phrase it that she deserved it because, I guess whoever deserves it gets the most points. And of course, in this scenario, she did. But just 2 slams rather than 1. I think that always is something that I look at the most rather than actually, how many points you gathered in any other event.
Yeah. Of course, the season is not over for Iga. She's still playing the Billie Jean King Cup next week. Actually, we'll play Paula Badosa in her first match on Tuesday. Or Wednesday, actually, the 13th. But yeah, so far this is kind of living up to what we thought. With both players serving pretty well so far, but Gauff is in Qinwen's service game here. Another good quality return. Yeah, Parariba is a good point actually because I don't know, is that going to make a difference? Slightly, maybe. We'll see. This was also the case in Rome, I think. By then already, Gauff was no longer with Parariba.
Yeah,
Rome is the only time they played.
Sure, it can be a factor, but if we're talking about WTA finals, then I think every single coach in the world will know a lot about these players. And of course, you can have some minor stuff, but in the long run, I think many players are aware of kind of what to do against Coco. The blueprint has been out. the blueprint isn't necessarily like stacking up recently, but I would be surprised if it's like more than just, I don't know, some minor things really that Pereriba can bring in because of that experience. Of course, we can't really ask Felix Auger-Aliassime because Tony would never coach him against Rafa, so we can't ask him about this particular situation and if it helps.
Yeah.
This was very random, by the way. This was apples and oranges. But I guess I like maybe not like comparisons, but I guess I like
I thought you were
mentioning
going to say
random things.
when Craig Boyton was coaching Steve Johnson and Hubert Hurkacz, and then he had a deal with both of them that if you guys play against each other, I will not be sitting in either one of your boxes, and I will not be giving you any kind of pre-match talk or anything like that before you guys play.
That's Dave's question. Comment. Yeah, I think BJK, I call it sometimes, which is fine. It doesn't evoke anything anymore. But yeah, that's good.
I still call it Fed Cup sometimes accidentally. Forget that
Yeah,
it's BJK.
I mean, that's something that probably will be kind of dying as soon as we get more and more new tennis fans on the scene. But like, we still call it that. So many players, coaches, fans, everything still call ITF events futures, and that's normal as well. Have I ever thought about getting Alcaraz's haircut on my head? No. I am a very simple person in regards to going to the hairdressers, as in I just show up, I say, yeah, just do what you want, and basically they just cut it the same as last time, but just like, shorter than I came in with. So yeah, that's basically my idea about this. So I don't ever think about my haircut or whatever. I just get my haircut when it's too long and when I have to look like a civilized person. Pretend to be a civilized person. Let's call it that. All right. I should be finally turning on the stream soon. This is an amazing stream where one of the hosts doesn't even watch the match.
So far, you haven't missed any breakpoints or anything like that. But yeah, no, Gauff ended a little bit of pressure on her serve. Double faulted at 15-all. She only hit 2 double faults in the whole match against Sabalenka. She hit 20.
Yeah, I was just actually looking that up. I was looking that up and I was kind of surprised. I mean, I thought it was going to be like maybe 5 or thereabouts, but it was actually just 2. Yeah. Which is, of course, a big contrast to their Wuhan clash.
Yes.
Is it just the indoor conditions? Is it actually, her maybe getting some good serve practice in? Probably both.
Maybe a few slight tweaks to her serve.
Does the grip expert know how to tweak someone's serve? Maybe he's just an expert on grips.
Well, I mean, I've heard some of the commentators on Tennis Channel say her grip is a little bit more continental than it used to be, and it's like, she's not falling on her left side so much, and she's kind of not decelerating, and obviously, I think in the Iga match there were a lot more in the second set, and they came in bunches, but it didn't really sort of affect the rest of her game. And she still held once in her service game where she had 3 double faults. I think that was actually the match where they showed up the most, the Iga match.
This week, yeah, I think so. Second set, there was that patch where she was just like hitting everything into the net for a while, but that was okay because, of course, it didn't last that long, and Iga never consolidated either of the 2 breaks. I think that she got that set. Thanks for specifying, Nurlan, that you're rooting for Q Zheng. I thought we were going to be rooting for like F Zheng or D Zheng. Personally, I mean, you know my answer. I don't care. Either one of these women will be a fine WTA Finals champion. They've done well to get here. I'm sounding like Nick now, but that's how I feel. It's probably not a bad thing to be sounding like Nick, at least most of the time.
Okay, this is a big point here in the fourth game. Deuce. Pretty intense rally here. Forehand to forehand. It's Qinwen who makes the first move and changes down the line. But she doesn't do enough with that volley. And Gauff has so much time, middle of the court. She finds a forehand winner cross court. Qinwen really played this point perfectly. I think she just really floated that volley, didn't get enough on it. Could have done a little bit more. And yeah.
Yeah, but that switch up forehand line, I think it's been very good for Qinwen the entire event. Kind of would want her the Rybakina match at some point at least. And this can be kind of the deal breaker for her if she's going to win this. Probably gonna need to serve well and yeah, be able to find that finishing blow. Maybe move into the net like she did here, but of course with better, just a better grip on the volley. But a few other opponents, of course, Sabalenka and Świątek included, they kind of didn't have that finishing blow against Gauff this week. By the way, did you watch Świątek Kasatkina later, or I mean after Gauff Świątek, or did you skip it?
I watched like extended highlights of it because I just
because I was just finding it pretty interesting how like against Gauff, Świątek literally like couldn't wrap up a point, whereas against Kasatkina, it's just so easy. And I was doing the watch along for this, and I remember sitting there and kind of just thinking, how much of that is just better control on the day, better range on the day, and how much of that is just the opponent's ball being so much less uncomfortable.
Probably the latter. Like, I mean, there's so much more that Coco has on her shots. Also, speed wise, also didn't really look like Kasatkina. I don't know how much she really prepped coming in. She was an alternate. I don't know how much. It's just a general matchup thing where she's just so much more comfortable. I know the matchup against Coco is also comfortable, but I mean Kasatkina, she's just kind of swept aside like 6 times in a row. So I think it had to do more with the quality of the opponent. She was just under way more pressure against Coco this week. Against Kasatkina, she kind of has like way more time. It's not nearly as rushed, not nearly as under pressure.
Yeah, I said something similar, I think, on the watch along that like I don't really know how much Kasatkina was ready for this because this was literally the last day with alternates potentially getting in. And because of that, I was also kind of thinking like, okay, she doesn't really look like she was ready for this match. Of course, the matchup issue is still very much there. And I mean, partially, of course, yes, Iga was like superb on the backhand cross and everything, but the ball that was coming in as well was not nowhere near as imposing. And in the end, we also learned that Iga actually didn't know that that match didn't matter at all. So you can see how she was like very fired up to win this easily, and yet that actually didn't change anything in her qualification scenarios, which might also be a WTA thing there because I think initially they were announcing different just things on their website. So it's possible that someone there told her, or maybe she read it, because I think after the Pegula withdrawal, they were kind of late in like realizing that this changes the scenarios even, to an even less meaningful match than that one against Pegula would have been.
Well, a couple of break points here for Gauff. She actually hit a very good forehand winner. Change of direction at 15-0, and then wins a long rally where she gets the error from Qinwen. And
yeah, it was a little cramped there on that forehand, but she managed to somehow sneak into it and get it done. The next one, I guess, wasn't their long rally, though, right? I mean, it was just a +1 from Qinwen.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. It was just a +1 error.
Kind of like her typical thing where she's trying to do it with a lot of spin and just maybe overplays it a little bit given the ball that was coming in. Whoa. I mean, that's an insane cross-court angle, though. That inside-out backhand winner from the Chinese.
Yeah.
Really didn't feel like there was all that much space there, and that she was probably going to make an error of that ball, but nope.
Also, the next point after that was really good as well, with the forehand down the line and then setting up the short backhand.
Really good athleticism from her as well, which I think sometimes people kind of like. I've seen the conversation about this match before this match going like Coco is so good on defense and she's like so fast, she's such a good athlete, but like Qinwen isn't that far behind.
Mm-hmm.
And in a rally like this, she was able to survive despite really having to jump through hoops. Although it's interesting that the first serve, I think she got it in on both breakpoints, and both of them were like easily returned by Gauff. Keen Otto was not tanking. I don't think. I mean, he was making a lot of errors, but you know how good FCF can be when he's like motivated and won't give you a point for free. I would not call it tanking. Like, yeah, it was lots of errors, but it was nothing like sensational. He was a little low energy at some point, but it was just classic Vietnam, and I don't think he acts any different in other matches. Someone on Twitter was trying to say, lack of effort in front of his home crowd, but that guy just spends his entire life trashing players left and right. Obviously, he's a better, and that's all I have to say. That Mikkelsen serve was actually pretty good. I mean, I think you still have to win a match against an opponent playing like this, but you can serve through the forehand like this. Of course, players have done it in the past, and I don't know, like Valkus, I've seen him do it like 10 times when he had that shoulder injury, which, I mean, he's obviously still more off the court than on the court. And also Nurlan had a question about who is more exciting, Zheng or Andreeva, in terms of whose future you are more excited about. Honestly, tough to say. I mean, very different styles. Similar potential, maybe?
Similar potential. I mean, maybe. I thought going in that Andreeva had a little bit more potential, but now I'm starting to think they're kind of more similar in the same boat. Maybe I just think that because Andreeva is just so much younger, like 5 years younger. So I kind of just think she has like a lot more time. Would you put both of them in the same conversation for most improved of the year? Would Zheng fall in that category for you, or is it more just like, would you have expected a top 5 finish from her? Or let's say if she wins,
she had a very strong second half of last year, right?
She did have a good second half, yes. She finished,
but it's still a jump. I don't know.
And that jump,
I think
Jasmine
Paolini is the
obvious. Yeah, Jasmine Paolini is the hands down gonna win this. But amongst the other candidates, if you were to like choose her, Navarro, Andreeva,
I would go Zheng over Andreeva. I think Andreeva's progress was way more expected this year, and it also hasn't been like outstanding. I think it's just been like optimal, really.
Yeah,
There's nothing.
Yeah, she had
like she
the
hasn't
French Open.
actually done anything that spectacular compared to how she was already playing in 2023. I'm sorry, maybe this is harsh, but I think that it was way more expected. And I would go Zheng over Andreeva, but of course Paulini is the number one in that category.
Yeah. I would agree because I think it's hard to go from 15 to 4 or 5. Compared to like whatever 30.
Same way
35 to
Sinner
60.
last year, right? Got the most improved.
Yeah.
I think in Sinner's case, though, it was a bit tougher than what Qinwen did, maybe. Just the fact that he dominated so much, like the last 2-3 months of the season. I think that was what got him the award. Qinwen hasn't been like a dominator on the tour in any part of the year. However, she's been very strong most of the time, besides the spring, really. So I think she's probably ahead of Andreeva for me in that conversation, but neither will win the award. It's obviously gonna be Jasmine.
Yeah. Ken, you got it. Yes, overnight oats. By the way, this is a really long game here. Both players just hanging on. Wow, that's rather.
I actually eat overnight oats again as well, but I eat them obviously at a different time of the day than you.
Oh, okay.
I mean, no, I'm just laughing about the time zones, really. But I do eat them for breakfast.
Oh, for breakfast, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like a routine.
Do you actually put it overnight?
Yes. I prepare it the day before. Yeah.
Oh, what's your recipe?
I mean, there's just oats, milk. There's this like protein nut cream or something like that, and fruit. At first, it was without that cream, but it kind of lacked like any fats or protein, really. So that's why I added it, and that is, I guess, kind of better. Just removed some of the oats and started adding that. Of course, I'm eyeballing the recipe, the mix as well, if you want to call it like this. But yeah, it's good. I mean, I like that kind of like routine, and I usually run in the morning as well, so I think it's a good thing to eat like 2 hours before the run. But yeah, I've been doing it for a few months now.
Nice. Yeah, your recipe is not that different from mine. Instead of the cream, I just use powder.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair too.
But yeah, it's pretty similar. So that was a big hold for Qinwen. Saved a couple of break points. Actually, 3 break points, maybe.
Yeah, and first serve, I think, on at least 2 of them, which of course is going to be a crucial part of this match as well.
Yes. 67-minute first set so far between 2 top 67 players in Bonzi and Nori. Locked in at 6-all in the first set tiebreak.
Ben playing his 3rd final, but I don't know if he choked the previous 2, but I think here, after watching him yesterday, I am kind of scared for his mental state if he can win it, but maybe he'll prove us wrong. And of course, he's been on a very confidence boosting run, so
yeah. Oh wow. He does get the first set here. With a really nice combination. So he's 1 set away from his first ATP title.
In terms of apples and oranges comparisons, I kind of always look at Rinderknecht and Bonzi in a similar way, because they they basically emerged on the tour at the same time. Of course, different routes because Rinderknech played college, but they have the same career high, 42 and 42. And their initial rise was like very different in that Bonzi won 6 ATP Challenger titles in 2021, and Rinderknech was in a quarterfinal on the main tour like every week that year. And they had like very different like point structures in terms of from where they got their points, obviously because of that. So I mean, if he does get it, he would be quicker than Rinderknech in getting to his first ATP Tour title, and then maybe next year he could have a shot at breaking his career high. Of course, with the last 4 events he's played, he's gained, I can't even count how many points.
Shapovalov's titles have come against a Serbian player in the final. Right? Because I think he beat Krajinovic in the final of Stockholm. And then
Possibly.
So.
But he also lost to Djokovic in the Paris final, so I guess he's not unbeaten against the Serbians.
Yes.
He also did a great backhand, jumping backhand winner against Viktor Troicki in Shanghai. I think he lost that much. This is now apples and oranges. And all of this while watching the WTA finals final. Hate saying that, as I said earlier.
Shanghai, what year was that? 2018, maybe?
I think so. Or 17 even, but one of these two anyway. Been around forever, even though he's still relatively young. Kind of like Coco Gauff, who, I mean, yeah, it just feels like I've been watching her for the last 20 years. And yet she's still just 20 years old.
Yeah. So there's that really high loopy shot from Coco. Was looking to come in immediately after, hesitated, didn't come in, retreated a few steps back, then came in on the next shot, and then gets past here. A little bit of hesitation. Maybe it was better for her to come in immediately. She was in a good spot. But we'll see. No, Ken, I don't think I'm hyped for this match. But then again, I also don't really like following. So.
Yeah, I guess for Diego Forlan is just not really, that big a deal. I mean, for me, the 2010 World Cup, I don't really care about that, but certainly liked him when he played like for Atletico Madrid earlier or Villarreal. United was a little before my time. Also, he didn't really spend that much time there. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's definitely a bit of a treat. I don't think the match will be that good, realistically. But yeah, I guess worth seeing. Just I don't know, even for a laugh, or maybe just to see how good a guy like this is, who I mean is doing pretty fine on like the ITF Masters, 45 plus tour, but obviously has never played professionally and will be by far the worst player on the court. 30-40 here. Coco Gauff. I think there was that like one point where Qinwen passed her, right? She had that quick short ball backhand that Gauff didn't really do that much with. And now it's going to be that second serve as well, which for her could spell trouble, but well, not really. It's a decent kicker, and Qinwen should not be missing that sort of second serve return.
Yeah, her type of second serve returns that Gauff was missing against Krejcikova.
Yeah, and also against who was it? No, who was I watching? It was Zheng as well, missing all of these returns against Rybakina, and then she finally started landing them.
Yeah, she played like 3 really outstanding sets, Zheng, in this tournament. The 6-1 over Rebecca and then 6-1, 6-1 against Paulina, which I was really surprised by. I was expecting that to be a lot closer.
They were consecutive as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is some strong backhand trading from the two. Qinwen found the line a few times there. And well, eventually that net court doesn't really help Gauff, but Qinwen still makes the error. Probably the longest rally of the match so far. I don't know how long it was. Maybe they'll show it. Have you guys eaten seameat before? I don't know what that is, Nurlan.
Ooh.
Of course, I will use the power to Google stuff.
I think you'll see this later.
Okay, it's some sort of a bagel from Turkey. No, I've never seen it. Of course, I've seen bagels, which probably are very similar to taste, texture, and everything. But
when it hits this drop shot that is floated so far deep into the court, like almost outside the service box, Coco gets up to it with plenty of time and then just misses a very easy backhand.
Yeah, surprise factor of that drop shot. Well, I mean, I guess it was there, but it definitely wasn't enough to bring up that miss.
And on average, it's taken Qinwen 5 minutes to hold serve, and for Gauff it's under 3 minutes. Though this is one of those longer games. Let's see, I mean, we saw a similar-ish stat against Iga in the first set. That's what this reminds me of. Gauff does hold there. Tried to save a break point. Couple of deuces. But 40 minutes in, we're only at 3-all in the first set. That's how competitive this has been so far.
Yeah, I remember that moment in the Świątek match when that stat was also like heavily discussed. Of course, that was when Coco was like 40-30 every single, 30-all every single game, then winning 2 points. Then the match kind of shifted in the second set. But and Nishikori has actually locked up his place in the final in Helsinki. I mean, he eliminated Fernley and Kim. Virtanen is out. He kind of has no business losing in this event if he can manage his physicality, especially.
And 4 errors so far. 17 for Zheng, 7 for Coco.
17? Oh, wow.
Zheng tends to get distracted by fans in the crowd before serving. It kind of sometimes can disrupt her, but usually she's still able to reset and find a big serve. Well, not in that case. 15-30. Yeah, it's just kind of Qinwen is under pressure immediately, followed by the return. Because Gauff is getting some pretty good depth on it, and then she's just working her way into these points, and creating all these chances. It just feels like a break of service coming here. 1830. Oh, but she's frustrated a little bit by her backhand. She's made a couple of. It's now a second error that you don't expect her to make on that reliable wing. All 30 all. Sorry, I'm currently just working on a tweet about Shapovalov. I just find his last 5 years so fascinating. Especially as I'm remembering the hype that was surrounding him in 2017.
Yeah, that stat is back with Zheng 6 minutes 25 seconds average service game and Gauff 4. I mean, all it really tells you by now is that they're both really struggling to get these games in, but indeed
another
45
backhand error.
minutes.
2 backhand errors
45
in this
minutes.
game. This one at deuce was so far out as well. It's actually kind of like all of our unforced errors, not all, but like a lot of them come on the backhand leg. Forehand has been pretty reliable so far.
There's a lot of backhand trading as well between them.
Yeah.
I would say Coco is hitting a lot more backhands than forehands as well.
Yes, which is what she wants. Nishikori will be 35 in December. And looks like every time he's healthy, I mean, he's still having really good results. It's not taking him like that long to come back. There was that challenger that he won in the summer last year, right? 2023, and then he.
Yes, Palmas del Mar. Well unranked. Over
that?
Michael Zheng.
Oh, yeah. Not Michael Chang, Michael Zheng.
Not Qinwen Zheng.
And
not Sai Zheng. Jesus, all right. I think I've mostly done what I had to do. What? He is...
Oh, yes, these are pictures of Alcaraz haircuts. Post-titles. Post-titles, he likes to go and have a haircut. With Victor the barber. And he likes that, shorter, buzz cut. He also likes to get a tattoo after every major that he wins. Interesting poll. 53% for Coco, 47% for Zheng. I mean, yeah, it feels like really that close. The winner of this is going to get 4.8 million. Of course, both of them lost one match in the group stages. But I mean, a lot of money here. Even for participating, you get 335,000 US dollars.
Did Vansh make a joke? I don't think I heard it.
Oh, I said not Michael Chang, but Michael Chang. I think that's what.
This one. Okay, I heard it. I just didn't laugh because, well, I mean, Michael Chang was at least the coach of Nishikori, so I can see where you're coming from.
Yes, that's what I was going for.
I do understand why you went for it. Was it good? Yeah, solid. Just like, well, I wanted to say just like one of the players today. Have they been solid? I mean, they've been okay. Of course, the Zheng unforced error stats that you brought up like 2 games ago was pretty striking, but I think it's a little exaggerated again. And I mean, 49 minutes in, we somehow still haven't had a break of serve despite so many long games. But now,
Coco's backhand Sunday has just fallen apart. 12-15, she hits one in the bottom to middle of the net. Just like a neutral rally ball.
yeah, but it was pretty deep. I don't think she like set up for it well. But of course, that's also part of the backhand consistency, shot tolerance, whatever.
Yeah,
but
still,
yeah, I mean, Qinwen is winning a lot of these rallies against her.
Yeah.
Ooh, and this is of course a forehand miss. Similarly deep ball, I guess. This one just completely shanked, and it's gonna be 3 break points for Qinwen. I mean, if she doesn't break here, it's gonna be a major missed opportunity. But she's winning a lot of these backhand to backhand trades with Gauff as well, which is certainly, well, I don't know, surprising, but it's one of the key factors that can help her win. If that happens, as it's usually where Gauff is at her strongest.
Yeah, we saw her 2 demons in the last 2 points, right? Forehand and forced and double fold. That was also pretty deep ball from Qinwen at love 30, so I think that's...
Yeah, that one love 30 was pretty tough.
Yeah.
A lot of players aren't going to make it, but it certainly looked like a typical Gauff forehand error, and then you've got the double fault. So it's a very easy game, actually. After so many tens, huge holds, intense battles, we've got an easy game for Zheng.
Not the break of serve that I really saw coming, actually.
She will be serving for the set.
Yeah. What would it mean for Zheng to win the 2 biggest events outside of the majors this year? Olympic gold and this.
With the Olympics, I think in many ways she was kind of in the Rybakina boat of winning 2022 Wimbledon, but without points. And that kind of, well, stops you from being considered as the threat you probably should be. Stops you from, of course, advancing in the rankings. Well, the Olympics are just 750. It's not 2K like with Rybakina, but still. Or where? 750.
They were, but not anymore. Well, I think actually, okay, yeah, that's about right.
Why about right?
I was just thinking. I think Nadal won 800 maybe in 2008, and then.
Oh, maybe in 2008, but like later it was definitely 750.
Yeah.
Personally,
Yeah,
I don't have a
I mean, I
Mhm.
think that's not that different from what the ATP gets paid in turn. I think if you win that thing undefeated, you get similar amount to 4.8 million.
Six Kings Slam paid 6 million.
Yeah, but
And the WTA finals pay 4.8.
and winning the US Open is only 3.9.
It's actually pretty insane that the WTA finals pay more than winning a slam.
Well, both the finals do.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, I understand that and I don't, is what I'm trying to say. I know it's just one event a year, but I guess the slam, it has to pay 128 players, whereas the finals you play, just 8 of them. So it's also easier to gather funds like this.
Yes. Also, yeah, Qinwen in that Olympics tournament. I mean, she almost lost to Kerber. Very, very close to losing. She was down like 4-1 in the third set. And then she had to face match point against Emma Navarro as well.
Yeah. She had a match against her nemesis there.
Yes, and then in the semis against Iga, she was 4-love down in the second set. So, 3 very huge wins, potentially career-defining wins, turning point wins. Although this 30-love has now become 30-40. It's a few forehand unforced errors from Zheng with deep Coco Gauff shots. Good question from Sean. Will Andreeva be in the WTA finals next year? She's at 16 in the world right now. She would need some more slam results, right? This year she had the fourth round of the Australian Open and then semis of Roland Garros.
Semis at the French, yeah.
But then the other 2 slams, she didn't get to the second week. Or I think she lost in the first round, maybe at Wimbledon, second round of the US.
Well, I know what my answer would be, and I don't even have to think about it all that much. Ooh, yeah, that's a costly error from Gauff. Of course, it was a high ball. Tough one.
I'm just trying to think who would not make it next year and who would, because I do think kind of like the ATP now, where I do think we have a reliable group that's going to be there for 4, 5, 6 years in a row, barring injury. For sure that Swiatek, Gauff, Sabalenka, Rybakina, and I'm going to put Zheng in there as well. I would be very surprised if these 5 are not in next year. So then you just have 3 spots left.
Is that in from Qinwen? I guess it is. Right on the
It
line
is
with the forehand
right
cross.
on the line. Right on
So
the
it
line.
will be the set point. Very, very slim margins there, but it's going to be a set point again. I mean, not again, because she saved the break point at 30-40, or rather Gauff made another backhand unforced error. My answer would be no. I think it's quite a big jump that's still needed. She doesn't at the moment strike me as a top 10 player yet. Could she do it in 1 year? Is she talented enough? Yeah, sure. But I guess I kind of have to see it first. I'm not sold yet that next year will be the year.
Yeah, same.
And this is the set for Qinwen Zheng. Another backhand error, in fact, from Coco. So we kind of know where a lot of them have been coming from. And if she cannot win backhand to backhand trades with Zheng, then how is she supposed to win? Is actually kind of the question. It's not the same sort of relentlessness of the ground that she had against Swiatek and Sabalenka. She's paying the highest price for it so far.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm surprised by a lot of these errors. I did not expect Zheng to come out this much on top in these backhand to backhand, and especially the last 3 games. I mean, before that, I don't think it was as much of a really something I was looking at. But I mean, now you see all those errors are coming off that wing, and I don't know what it is really, what to put that down to.
Yeah, the one on break point here, sure, it's a high ball, but you gotta at least play it in. I don't know, she didn't need to be super offensive with it either. But yeah, even the set point, she's still in the rally. She's not actually pressured all that much. So I guess for now, Qinwen just hasn't really had to like find her ways to wrap up points. She's being given some of them from Coco, and that's maybe something that the previous opponents didn't really get. Well, Vansh will not be satisfied with the Cam Nori developments, as it looks like Benjamin Bonzi is up a set and a break. Still far from taking the match, but he is in a commanding position. I'm just looking up how many points will he have gained because of his efforts the last couple of weeks, and it's going to be a ton, obviously. We've got 225 from the three challenger finals in a row that he made, plus 250 for winning Mets, and also, of course, the points for qualifying for Mets, which I'm actually not sure how many of them there are, but must be like, what, 15? I don't know, 20?
Well, I'll tell you this, that in the first set, how many break points do you think Cam Nori had?
Yeah, I know more or less he had like over 10.
14.
Yeah.
And he was 1 for 14. You lose a set like that, that's like 75 minutes. You go all out. You lose it 8-6 in the tiebreak. And you have
Vansh already making
three different
excuses.
games. And you don't take them. I guess it's not that surprising that you're probably not going to win the second set.
Yeah, it was 13 points, by the way, for qualifying for 250 rather than 15. I was off by 2 there. And of course, I'm seeing some stuff from the earlier final of the WTA finals in doubles that we had. Dabrowski and Routliffe winning this one over Siniakova and Townsend. Now we are crowning the singles champion. I mean, soon will be. How soon? That depends on Gauff and Zheng here. First set to the good for the Chinese, who can do something that her idol Lina actually couldn't achieve. I think she made one final at the WTA finals back in 2013. Without remembering who she lost to, I would just guess Serena. But is that actually true? Well, I don't know.
Oh, wait, sorry, what? Who did lose to Serena?
It was Serena. Now I was just talking about Nali or Lina making the final in 2013.
Of what, Miami?
No, WTA finals.
Oh, I was like, what would be that? Okay, yes. She lost to Serena. I remember that. Yeah, she also lost the Miami final that year. I don't know why I just suddenly thought of that, but yeah.
Yeah, basically, I was just talking about, Zheng following in the footsteps of her idol, and of course, she would be the first Chinese player to win this event. Gauff has, her country has more of a legacy, of course, in terms of that.
Huh. I see a space going on Twitter right now with Mark Epst of the ATP, who's like a communications and he's part of Web3. Is this new thing?
Yeah, they announced it a couple of days ago, and Jose is supposed to be there, Bastien. I don't know
Jose,
who else.
Christian, Robbie Coing. Wait, what are all these people there for right now in the space?
I mean, that's an ATP Finals preview. Plus, they're also selling some NFTs.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah,
joking.
that's what it is. Yeah, so the fans can walk away with the memorabilia, right?
Yeah, they can buy like every match or something like that. They can buy some memorabilia of every match at the WTA at the ATP Finals.
Why Bastien there?
I mean, I guess just as a Twitter influencer.
Oh,
I mean, why is Jose there? Like,
he manages
I
the
mean, it's the
tennis
same.
team. I think he runs the tennis
No, but
team
like
also.
he's not actually mentioned as a in the announcements of this. He's not mentioned as someone from Tennis TV or from the ATP. He's just there because of his.
Oh, he's just there
Twitter
like in
profile.
the space, just chatting.
Yeah, like
Okay.
why is Jose there? It's the same thing.
Hmm.
I look like a legit crypto bro. Okay, that's kind of wild. Best Asian tennis player in history, male or female? Oh wow, Brazy.
Lena.
Naomi, actually.
Oh.
I mean,
yeah.
how is it Lina over Naomi?
Okay, my bad. Yeah. So, I somehow always I know Naomi is Japanese, but really, like, she has an American citizenship as well. Yeah. Sometimes I disassociate her.
Perspective in there.
I know.
No, I mean, I get that. I get that.
But she spent most of her time in Florida.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
kind of like, yeah. Which I was thinking about this the other day. If like I became a professional tennis player, like would I want to play for India or would I want to play for the US? And I kind of maybe would want to play for India if I was like really, really good. And let's say I was like, I don't know, like I have top 50 potential and like I could potentially win a gold medal or something, right? Like I definitely want to play for India. That'd be amazing,
You could play the Asian Games as well.
Yeah.
Davis Cup. I mean, you have it much easier.
I could make so much history, as an Indian.
Yeah. I mean, you would have to be like actually really good,
Yeah.
to surpass VJ. I mean, but at the same time, sure. And so many people would be like interested about you right away. There's like such a huge group of Indian tennis fans on tennis Twitter, which like they are obsessed with the results of every single Asian player, regardless of the level. So I think you would instantly gain some fans, and that also can be quite appealing. I mean, personally, I don't think I would ever really have another country that I could play for. But if I could, I would definitely think that, if you have a choice, that's pretty much the same. Probably go for the smaller one always, because instantly you get into Davis Cup and some other benefits. You don't have to struggle to get into the Olympics. And I think it's just more, it's just more manageable if you are playing for the smaller country. Between the two, you are a dual citizen of.
I tell you what, Qinwen the last few games has really ramped it up on her ground strokes and this backhand on the line right here. What was even the score? Midway through this game, it's just really well done.
I wish I had a net worth of 300 million. I do have some savings, some deposits in the bank, but they're mostly 300 million. I mean, maybe there's there's definitely not 300,000 there, even in Polish money. So definitely not. Vanch, do you think Somdev the Varman overachieved or underachieved is the crazy question for you?
Ooh, tough to say. I mean, I don't know if it's either. Maybe I think he just achieved what he could. He got to like 65 in the world in 2011. He played all the big four. He, more or less, I think he got to the finals of an ATP tournament as well, somewhere, maybe South Africa. He had a few memorable moments, early 2010s. I don't think he really had like a huge game, like anything that could be like a consistent top 50 presence. So from that standpoint, I think he did about as well as he could. He retired relatively early, but back then it was not that uncommon to retire at 30. So I don't know. I think he achieved pretty much what he could. Like I think his goal was for a long time to get into the top 100, and he did. So I don't know if he could have done that much more, to be honest. I think he kind of maximized.
Yeah, I'm fine with that answer too. Absolutely. I think mostly why people bring this up is like, injuries, physicality. It goes for a lot of Indian players, I guess. And Yuki Bambri maybe is an even better example. Like he had a shorter time at the top than the Varman. There's been a fair few of these, like top 100 Indians who were only there for a short time. I mean, even in Prague, there's good as Varan. It's pretty insane. Ramanathan almost made it. Anyway, breakpoint down here, Gauff, already. And again, it's the backhand that just goes into the nets. She will not be pleased about this performance so far, given that it's literally her biggest asset that is kind of failing.
Yeah, I also want to go back to that 2-all game in the first set where Zheng saved those 2 break points, played some really good tennis, hit 2 winners, made 2 first serves. That was a very key game to to hold for 3-2. And then she also has break point in the next game. Doesn't take it. Coco gets out of that game, but looked really shaky, I must say, at 2-3, 30-40. She did hold for 3-all, but it wasn't convincing at all. Zheng holds for 4-3, and then Coco gets broken at love in that game, and that's where we see the backhand errors. We see Zheng just being so much more consistent and hitting the ball deeper, heavier. Coco's really kind of, this match has gotten away from her for the last 4 games, and she's going to have to get it back. Otherwise, it's not going to be good enough with the way Zheng's been serving. And she will not be pleased with this performance, as I think Damien said just before he got cut out, but now he's back. So.
Yeah, the fact that she is like, whatever is the strongest asset for you, generally, you just expect it to be the one thing that doesn't break. And so far, she cannot really rely on her backhand like this, but of course, still a lot of time for either Zheng to get nervous or for Coco's quality to rise again. The first set was very competitive despite the 3-6 scoreline. It was just that one game that Gauff gave away for, let's say, almost for free. I think Vansh would come second in the Asian Games because he would then run into someone from South Korea who needed to win the gold medal in order not to, go through the military. And Vansh would be like, yeah, okay, I'm going to give it to him. And he would tank the match. At that point, India would disown him and he would have to start playing for the US.
I would never tank the finals of an Asian Games. I would not dare.
Unfortunately, ATP San Diego is not around anymore. Definitely some challengers in California would give you a wild card.
ATP Chennai.
Oh, yeah, and in India as well, yeah. Tiburon, wild cards maybe.
New Delhi Challenger. Typical Jose Morgado tweet would also have the words "oh." Just like quote tweet something and then just be like, "Oh wow."
Yeah. Oh yeah. How come nobody has followed the footsteps of Sania Mirza? Yeah, is there any other Indian right now? I mean, Ankita Raina kind of doesn't count at this stage.
That would be the closest, but Sania Mirza, no. I mean, she had a very good singles career as well. People forget. I mean, she made the second week of meters. She had some big wins. She got inside the top 30, maybe even at one point, or somewhere around that. So
somewhere around, yeah.
And then forever was pretty insane in doubles alongside Martina Hingis, and in mixed as well. It was actually very recently also in the finals of the Australian Open 2023. Her and Rohan Bopanna. They lost the mixed doubles final, but that was also, I think, the last tournament of her career, I believe. And then she retired in Dubai, where she lives.
Yeah, no Indian women in the top 300 of the singles rankings right now. There are a couple that are even ahead of Ankita Raina, but to be honest, I don't think I've heard of them. Well, we have a shot of the cup that is kind of awaiting Qinwen Zheng right now, 6-3 to love. Nowhere near done yet, but
5 games in a row for Qinwen, and obviously, Yeah, I think also that 2-all game feels pretty big. Those 2 breakpoint saves. I believe one more as well with, 3 breakpoint saves in that game. 2 of them she made the first serve, hit winners off of them. And then Coco, if you remember, barely held from 30-40. It was like not a convincing game. It was like very shaky to hold for 3-all. And then she had a love 30 in that game. Misses some backhands. Qinwen plays really well, gets out of it, and then breaks it love, and then holds. And since then, it's been her match, really. So.
Well, Brazy, you must be an expert on her game after such an experience.
Yeah, honestly, I've not seen her play, so.
I think I have, but I don't even remember that much. I know where she's ranked more or less. I think she's like 20 something. Well, closer to 30 than to 20 for sure. But I don't remember where I would have watched her. Well, more backhand and forced errors as well. Oh, she needs a reaction soon, and it's kind of not coming.
We saw Barbora Krejcikova go down, by the way, 6-3-3 love double break yesterday. She did manage to get it back. Wins 1-5 of the next 6 games. Had deuce chances to even it in 1 set all. And then, Zheng ended up winning. In some ways, it was also similar to the Sabalenka-Paulini match as well. Sabalenka goes up 6-3, 4-2. Paulini comes back and has 2 set points, where if she takes that set, that could have really shaken things up in the group. But Sabalenka comes back, wins at 7-5. So, Coco, yes, she does need a reaction pretty quick. Being down the set in a break, 30-all here in this game. Kind of a really important point for her to get on the board here. And she's running all over the place. Qinwen with the forehand down the line, but Coco chases it. And then Qinwen goes for a cross-court backhand drop shot, but Coco is right up there in time, and this time she doesn't make a backhand unforced error. In fact, she hits a winner. And there's a couple of US flags in the crowd as well. No idea what the crowd support is kind of like. I've heard that Qinwen has had so many fans this week, Chinese fans and stuff.
Yeah,
you have to see her play. But yeah, big reaction from Coco as well. Big roar, fist pump. She knows how important this moment is. And,
yeah, she was almost out of the point a few times. Does get it in the end. Maybe this is the turning point.
Yes, because she also hits an ace on the next point down the tee. Has been getting those 3 points on the serve. And yeah, I think it's very important for her to get that game, break that run of 5 straight games won by Zheng. We'll see if it's too late. I don't think. I think by holding in that game, it at least keeps her in some touching distance. But yeah, so set in a break, but still kind of far away. What was the other final that Shapovalov made in 2021? He made the Geneva final. I remember that. Lost to Casper Ruud. There was one more final that he made in 2021. Isn't there? I know in 2022 he made the Vienna 500 final, and then he made the Seoul final where he lost to Nishioka. I remember that. What was it in 2021? It was Geneva. And maybe one more in the indoor sling. Or something like that. Oh, Stockholm. That's right. He lost to Tommy Paul.
Tommy Paul's only title up until recently, yeah.
I'm just compiling a tweet of everything Shapovalov has done the last 5 years, except winning a title. I believe he also made the top 10, right? After he got to the Wimbledon semi.
Yeah, and he gave Vitkov Shiva a top 10 win. He gave Roberto Carvalho Baena a top 10 win.
I remember that. Hilarious.
There was a while where like Shapovalov would just basically give a lot of players the best win of their careers. And I think it wasn't like completely out of nowhere. Like if you had him play all the players on, let's say, the second best 100 of the ATP rankings, so like from 101 to 200, I think he'd lose like 30 of these matches.
It kind of says something about his well, like how he's so streaky, right?
Yeah, sure.
Right, he'd have these big runs. He'd go and make a Miami semifinal, then he'd lose like 10 first rounds, and then he'd make another semifinal. Like that was his whole career, for basically ever. Is he like a Stan Wawrinka type where you think like 28, 29, 30? He's going to spend this week, put it together for 2 weeks?
I mean, he can do it. Do I trust that he will do it? I don't know. I wish I was a fan in the 2000s, and kind of knew what people were thinking about Wawrinka at the time. Like, did anyone ever see, even a glimpse of what was to come?
2008, right? He makes the Rome final.
Yeah, but like after that, you've got like 3 years without any major results. Maybe even 4 up until the first Australian Open clash with Novak. So
yeah, that was really the match that made people think. That was really the first time, I guess, people would have been like, "Oh wow, like he could actually like beat the very best." Of course, it turned out to be mostly a Djokovic thing. Like he just matched up amazingly well against Novak in the majors.
And Bonzi has done it. So he has the first title. Absolutely incredible run. What was it? 21-1 in 33 days? I guess so, because you've got 14 on the Challenger Tour and now 7 matches in a row as well. Barely dropping sets in this. I mean, other than the Brest final when he was clearly a little tired. And yeah, just a fantastic setup for next year, given he's got almost nothing to defend until Ilkley.
Mm-hmm. You had he beat Casper Ruud as well, right? In the second match of the tournament, and he beat RBA before that. He beat RBA, he beat Ruud, he beat Hanis, he beat Mikkelsen, who played very funky in that third set with those underarm serves. Drive volley underarm serves.
Yeah.
So, wow, I guess both the title winners this week were qualifiers.
Yes, indeed. And that's 12 ATP Tour maiden champions this year as well. That's double the number from 2023. And I think four qualifier champions this year. So 2 of them this week is definitely quite peculiar. We had otherwise I think Tapilo and Darderi. So very beginning of the season and the end of the season. No Hamad Medjedovic in the top 100 yet.
I think he would have gotten there this year. He just missed all that time in the beginning of the year.
Oh yeah, but all in all, he had a lot of like time with not with good fitness, but that's his fault. But like he had a lot of time as well after he came back to get there. And
all right. 1 hour 39 minutes later.
Progress.
1 hour 39 minutes later, I'm going to mention that this is now the second week in a row that Brandon Nakashima has lost to the eventual finalist.
Oh no.
Hugo Humbert in Paris. And
yeah, first round, both of them. Why does Bonzi remind me of Albert Montanes? Who said that Bonzi reminds me of Albert Montanes? I mean, I barely remember Albert Montanich playing. Like, I've probably watched him twice or thrice, maybe in 2012, 13, if I did even. But yeah, I don't really know why he would remind me of him. Very different preferences for surfaces.
It is interesting though how a lot of French players are similar, or they're kind of a similar prototype. I think of in Arthur Rinderknecht, and I instantly get reminded of Jeremy Chardy for some reason. And I think of, I don't know, Ugo Humbert, and I'm like, wow, he's kind of an upgraded Gilles Muller, if you think about it.
Gilles Muller is not French, huh?
Oh, shoot, no! Okay, yes, but yeah, I get, okay, yeah, good one, yeah.
Maybe, I mean, Muller definitely more...
Maybe it's just the short takebacks and
more of a net player. Rinderknecht as well, compared to Chardy. Rinderknecht doesn't have the forehand of Chardy. Chardy was pretty much like a forehand, bot, if you may. That's literally the thing that made his career, the thing that would always make him stand out. I can see some of the, let's say, similarities in the backhand technique and how they, well, let's say they just maybe aren't the most fluid.
Yeah,
and have similar body types and
a good one
everything.
as well. But I think Lodra was just very, very crafty and savvy, and I don't know if Ugo is more just straight up rush.
Upgraded Lodra. Again, that's very primarily heavy net player. I don't think we can really get Humbert in there. Lodra would be even more towards maybe the other French magicians rather than Humbert.
Santoro.
Well, Santoro is in his own boat, I guess. But yeah.
Barami. And serves with 6 balls in the air.
Which country did Barami play for? Was it Iran or France? I think it was Iran, actually. Of course, he is a dual citizen as well. 12K subs by the end of the year. I don't know how many we have by now. When it comes to the Sean question that we have on our screen, is Coco playing a lot worse than yesterday? The answer would probably be yes. So far, yes. I mean, she cannot be losing this many backhand cross-court exchanges with Zheng. She cannot be, she can't be unable to rely on what usually makes her strong. But this is still a match. She's still in this and basically can fire back at any time if she keeps holding. This is now love 15 on the Zheng serve at 3-2, and also a second serve coming in for Qinwen. So any aggressive intent would be nice for Coco.
Yeah, she did hold pretty comfortably actually last service game as well.
And it was a good return. Yeah, directly at Zheng's feet. So she does have that chance at love 30 now.
To hit a one-handed backhand. Did you catch that? You catch that? We had Zheng Qinwen hitting a one-handed backhand.
Yeah, sure.
The shoelaces, yeah. The one-hander's back.
Hitting is... if it doesn't really even go, land in the net, then I don't know if we can classify it as hitting. But I guess she attempted it, yes. And that's a good point from Gauff as well, approaching the net and wrapping it up with a volley. So 3 break points not right back, but 3 break points to return to the set. Lots of kind of good, just positivity about the points here. Trying to be on the front foot. And who knows, maybe she will get the reward. Qinwen serves. It's a very deep return. Coco really should be getting this point, and I guess she will be. The drive volley was making me a little uncomfortable there, but she does land it, so it's a break to love, just like Qinwen did to her in the first set, and she's back on level terms.
She is back.
I mean, I never said anything about Lodra's achievements, by the way. I was just talking about his game, how he and Humbert just off the ground, they play completely different styles to me. In fact, Lodra kind of didn't have a ground game. He was really at the net 50% of the time, if not then coming up with something in order to avoid a proper regular baseline rally. which obviously he was amazing both in singles and in doubles. But I'm just talking about like these stylistic.
Gold has a higher ceiling than all these players because you can just take the racket out of your hand.
Well, we've got one more of these like very strong backhand to backhand trades. This time Gauff is able to withstand it. Eventually, they did switch to the forehands for a moment, but still, 15 love.
Zheng has also done well in those forehand to forehand because she's hitting that forehand of the line really well.
Yeah.
So actually, that's a big reason also why you can see she's ahead in this match. The cross-court rallies have just been very good for her on both wings. Oh, I think there's another really good point here from Zheng. My stream sort of cut off as she was hitting this backhand, but I think it was a winner.
Yeah, it was.
Oh.
And now she's in control of the next rally as well, eventually getting that forehand out of Coco's reach. So maybe that break that Coco got right back will not be that long lasting. I mean, it's just 15-30, but the consolidating it will be a struggle, most evidently.
Coco does hit an ace at 15:30. So that was very timely. Of course, at this tournament, we also had Aaron Roddiff and Gabriela Dabrowski winning the doubles. They beat Taylor Townsend and Katerina Siniakova. Siniakova and Townsend were a really big fan favorite doubles pairing this week, as they played some very memorable matches and tie breaks, and I think they were a lot of people's pick to win the title. And another pretty big hold for Coco from 15:30 down. Can you name a player who has massively overachieved given their potential? Oh, I don't know about overachieved, but always the fact that Diego Schwartzman made the top 10 is definitely something amazing. Will be celebrated in February.
You don't have to look far either, right? I mean, in terms of one of the players who won, who was in an ATP Tour final today, another top 10 player who no one ever would have expected.
Jasmine Paolini, exactly.
No, I'm thinking of Cameron Norrie.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's a good one. It's a good one. I mean,
Vange, even as a fan, Norrie and Schwartzman are in the same boat here, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cameron Norrie.
I think they both massively overachieved. I'm not taking the credit away from them though. They worked hard to get there, but these are just top 10 players that no one at the beginning of their careers would have called. It just was simply impossible.
Yes.
You said ATP or WTA, so yeah, I mean, Paolini, I guess, is also a thing. Yeah, I mean, 2 slam finals this year, that's something insane. I think even a year ago, it simply felt impossible.
Who else? Maybe Sarah Irani making a slam final?
Yeah, sure. To your question, John, I don't know. 850 would be safer, maybe even 855. 845 is kind of pushing it. I will be doing something by myself at 8 p.m. And technically, I am the only person who's going to decide how long it will last. But, I don't want to be cutting it. I'm actually getting money for it. So it's kind of more of a priority. Flavia Pennetta, nah, I think she had kind of different stints at the top, and I think she did fine. You know, not the most random slam champion we got, but
I'll give you
obviously
another
not
one.
one of the more unexpected.
On the men's side, Kevin Anderson. 2 slam finals.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's as strong an example of Osneri or Schwartzman. Like, I think
Yeah,
he
it's
was.
definitely not that strong, but
Although,
still, I mean, top 5, 2 Grand Slam finals. I don't think for the longest time, you know, he was always in that.
It's a very brief top 5, though, right?
He finished the year top 5, though.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just like one more. Like he was the 5th best player that year.
Understand that. Yeah, sure. Yeah, maybe not massively though. Like maybe just not massively is what I would say. Yeah. Well, Qinwen is also finding aces down the tee. She's not gonna allow Coco to get too ahead of the stat. And by the way, that also means, John, that I will have to leave at like 7:50 from here, like 7:55 maybe. So if this match, that's what's like really pushing it again. So if this match goes like much longer than from here, then I also might not be able to stay until the end. But we'll see. Of course, that would require Coco to push this to a 3rd set. And for now, we still don't really know if that will happen.
There's a good point here at 15:30. Makes Zheng hit a backhand she wasn't in great position for. She kind of had to take quite a lot of risk just to get back in the point. So 30 all. Which is bigger, a 2nd slam or world number 1? Example, would team take a 2nd slam or spell at number 1? I think personally a 2nd slam, then a brief spell at number 1, because I mean the 2nd slam is pretty big. Like there's a big difference between winning 0 and 1, and there's also kind of a big difference between winning 1 and 2, and then after 2 everything else is kind of gravy, and then you've had a pretty great career. I think the number 1 just kind of comes with.
Yeah, with 1 slam or number 1, it's obvious. With 2, though, it becomes a conversation. I can understand if someone goes the other way around. I would probably prefer the 2nd slam, but I can totally get that if someone just said that. I don't think Kuznetsova overachieved either. Again, this is a player who had many, many different sort of like stints at the top of the game. She was very good from the get-go. She was very good at the finish of her career. I don't really think she did overachieve. 2 slams, okay, might be a bit pushing it if you like only remember her last days or something. But even in like 2017 or whatever the year was, she made the WTA finals and she was still very much a threat. I think, I don't think I would ever call her an overachiever.
By the way, Coco Gauff, break point, and she does get the error from Qinwen, who overhits on that forehand, and Coco is looking a lot more calm, a lot more serene than she was about half an hour ago.
I mean, obviously,
a lot more positive when she didn't go down double break, and kind of you could see the tide was shifting a little bit. And it's kind of gonna be. I was going to say something else, but I forget. Yeah, basically, she's
especially that 2-3 break. I think she did show a lot of good intent. This one though, like that last error from Zheng, is another one of these classic ones where she gets a high ball on the +1 forehand and she's just trying to overcook it. She's just trying to like use so much spin where it's not really required. And Gauff will indeed serve for the set. This one being significantly shorter than the first one, but it is, a big turnaround. She was already 3-6-1 down, right?
Yeah. Sorry, that return was really, really good from Zheng. I actually thought it was going to go out, and I think maybe Coco did as well, but it just caught kind of the corner of the baseline. It was very, very deep.
This is what she's going for with that second serve return strategy, like where she's backing up even more, just trying to get it super heavy, as close to the baseline as possible.
Yeah.
In that
By the
match
way,
against
I'm Igor
Rybakina,
Swiatek.
she did start finding it a lot more often.
If I'm Igor Swiatek, I'm watching this match thinking, this is something I should probably this is something I should probably work on adding in my game.
Maybe. I mean, she is also a high top spin player, just like Zheng, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I actually saw an interview recently with Ben Facette, and they straight up asked him point blank, what are some of the things that you look to improve in Swiatek's game, and that was one of the things he said. So, saw a lot of Ego fans very happy about that.
Partially when I was watching that Zheng Rybakina match, I was kind of saying like, okay, yeah, but she's missing all of these up until she stopped.
Mm-hmm. Also, Gauff being a lot more aggressive when she's inside the baseline. I think that's pretty obvious from watching the second set, but numbers bear it out as well.
Taking the back since pretty early here. Yeah, we've got the stat on the screen as well. 20% shot of her shots in the second set are taken inside the baseline. As we remember in the opener, she was making a lot of these back and errors of a high ball, but usually she would be like 2 meters behind the baseline, maybe a little closer.
Though, at 40-15. Wow, that was a good serve as well. Good first serve, but Zheng using her wingspan and just getting through that one cross court.
Saves the first set point a la Djokovic Federer.
Yes, I was just going to say that. You took the words right off of my mouth, but that's exactly what I was thinking. Yes. Very reminiscent.
Hope she's not going to be criticized by Gauff, after the match. When Gauff is going to come out and say, this is not how I was taught to play. I wouldn't do that, This isn't right. This was not the proudest moment, I think, of Federer's career in terms of his PR and
lucky shot
just being a sore loser in that moment for sure. And second set point.
I mean, I think you're like a really big Federer fan, and you just straight up admitted that. So.
I mean, it's a horrible interview. I'm fine with it, I think the guy generally was pretty classy and usually a gracious loser, but that interview is just I mean, it makes me laugh more than it makes me feel like embarrassed or anything else. It definitely makes me laugh, but I mean, obviously the things he says there are just it's obviously the arguments don't really make sense. Anyway, Zheng did save that second set point. Got a short ball eventually, wrapped it up.
I like that he has one moment like that stands out because he was just, like you said, like for the most part, it was just not nothing. So, oh my goodness! But wow, from 40-15 up, all of a sudden, break point chunk. Yes, John, we're talking about the 2011 U.S. Open semifinal post match. Federer's,
and of course Federer talking about the Djokovic return, which
oh wow,
I mean it was a little out there, but I mean who hasn't done that, like 15-40 down on return? I still never really imagine it wasn't like the most outrageous shot ever anyway. Like I don't imagine a universe where I'm sitting and thinking, no, I mean I can't believe he went for that. Anyway, not the most important thing right now is actually from 40-15 and that great return. So we really are having a Djokovic Federer parallel here. From that great return, Zheng actually breaks, and I don't know if it was the return that kind of got to Coco, probably not.
Do you remember the point at 40-30? Because I think that was also...
The point at 40-30 was, I mean, it was a good exchange from Qinwen. She got a short ball eventually and finished it off with the forehand, right?
Yeah, and then put it away and then...
Yeah, and then Gauff makes 2 errors on the next 2 points. Not pressured that much, but I guess decent depth from Qinwen, especially on the second point. So she is back in the set, and, now it's really anyone's game.
Well, maybe she heard you and when you said you have to leave at 10:45, and she's like, "Well,
maybe." Although if Coco wrapped up this set in this game, then I probably would also be able to watch the decider now, right? And now
Yeah.
if she still wins this, but like 7-6, then I will probably have to leave mid-match. So they might be working in my favor, or they might be going completely against me, but we will find out soon. Christopher Eubanks took the first set against Johannes Monday in Knoxville. That's, of course, a match that is going to be literally decided by the serves, I think. So,
Well, today is not his day to
so
win
the
because it's not.
tiebreaker is not too surprising.
Today is Saturday, Davian. So I don't think Johannes is getting it today.
I mean, Johannes already won this week on, I think, well, definitely Friday. I think Thursday as well, and maybe Tuesday. Well, he's done well, not on a Monday.
Yeah, but that was
just like Maxime Janvier sometimes wins not in January.
That was the work. That was the work week. That was the weekend. Yeah, just like August Holmgren doesn't always win in August.
Do I agree with Qinwen that friends are not necessary on tour? That's quite interesting. I mean, I don't think they're necessary, but it kind of depends as well on, well, the kind of person you are, and also, are you traveling with somebody? Like, I think especially if you're just going by yourself to every event, you need to have, I'm not saying friends, but like, I don't know, just buddies to just talk with at the venue, practice with maybe. I think it's really important. If you're a player like Qinwen, maybe not as much. Obviously, she's going to have some sort of entourage with her. But yeah, I still, me, the kind of person that I am, even though I'm not the most outgoing, I would still at least really want to just keep, a good professional level with everybody. And I think that would really help me just be a little bit more relaxed when I'm at the event. Like, I wouldn't want any bad blood between me and the others, but some people would be comfortable handling that. So if she sees Emma Navarro at an event and she's like totally fine with it now, then I can't say that that's wrong or anything like that. If she doesn't feel the sort of like anxiety that it would make me feel, then good for her.
Yeah, she's generally like a pretty confident person, I think. I imagine Qinwen.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Like, self-belief, swagger, and everything about her. So I don't know. Her
Really
quotes
going into the Qinwen nickname, I would say.
Yeah, and the quotes that I read about this, it reminded me a lot of like Sharapova's approach to the game, which was much more like, well, I have a lot of friends outside of tennis, and I'm here to like compete, and I can't really like, if I'm being too friendly with the people in the locker room, I can't really put that aside when I'm playing in a high stakes match. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely different than most people's approach.
Yeah, but it clearly worked for Maria, so I don't think it was ever like something she has to change or anything like that.
No,
And another example that comes to my mind is Bouchard not shaking Dulgeru's hand at Fed Cup.
Yeah,
that was insane. But anyway, 15:30 here, and Zheng is attacking on the next point. She's at the net, but she really shouldn't be winning this point, and she's not. So we have 2 set points for Gauff now.
And just like that point in the first set, she doesn't do enough with the backhand volley. It's a little bit in the middle of the court, and Gauff has a backhand. And
yeah, but like with were you expecting her to actually pull off something here with this? Yeah, me neither. Like when she was coming to the net, I was already like, okay, yeah, this is not going to be a point that she wins.
Yeah, and now backhand to backhand, this time Gauff is a lot more stable. She actually goes for the flatter ball here, and she gets the error from Qinwen. So we are in a third set.
Are going free after all.
Yeah, we are going free. I think pretty fitting in many respects. 2 very competitive sets, even if the scoreline is not like 7-5 or 7-6. It was certainly quite a lot of long games, very competitive exchanges, very similar players in terms of like stylistically. So it is not so a surprise that we are in a decider, and it's really anybody's match at this point. It's really anybody's match. Obviously, Coco kind of has the momentum. She's going to serve first, so a good start would really help her. But yeah, so far this final is definitely living up to the billing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always good if the last match of the season, technically. I mean, sorry, I'm not going to include Beijing King Cup in this, but of course you may wanna. But yeah, I think it's if the last match of the season goes 3 sets, of course, it's always great. We just want as much tennis, as much action as possible in these spots, and yeah, I mean, it's been a quality affair, a little up and down from both, of course, but yeah, it's kind of went in the way you described with the competitive sets, while not necessarily being the most competitive scoreboard wise. Zheng did have a long streak of games she won in a row, then Gauff had one. So all in all, yeah, deciding set feels very, very natural for this one. Would I rather go play with Nurlan or Pereriba? I mean, go on tour with Nurlan or Pereriba. I would be a little afraid of Nurlan, but you know, I'm fine with that. I don't think he would be able to give me like good advice. Pereriba probably would. So it depends on what I want to do. If I wanted to have fun and like kind of the sort of absurd sense of humor that Nurlan has, then I would choose Nurlan. But if I wanted to improve at tennis, I would go with Pereriba. And no, I'm not off to play table tennis. I actually will be talking about the ATP finals on a different channel, let's say.
Is it going to be Polish only?
This is actually going to be Polish, yes. And after that, I'm going to be back for ATP Weekly. So don't worry, I won't be back. I won't be gone for long on talking tennis.
We also have to record another episode of the Igor Carlos tennis show.
Yes, we do. I texted you earlier today. I'm not sure I got an answer.
Oh,
but,
yeah, I never responded, but I was going to say, yeah.
That's fine. I mean, obviously, I'm just kind of joking with this. But yeah, I think anything post ATP Weekly would be okay for me, regardless if it's like 10:15 my time or 11 or whatever. Well, I think maybe not like verbally or not even in the written sense, but I am kind of down here on a long-term contract. Yeah, that's actually true. Like when someone asks me if I'm earning money here, I say that, well, not really, but I did have some benefits, definitely. Of course, John paying for the accommodation in Portugal being probably the biggest ones. I also spent a week in John's house last year. Brazy, you probably don't remember that because I think you joined the channel later. But me and Mario were there for the first week of the Australian Open in 2023. I have like on occasion received some small wage as well. So I think yeah, I'm it's not like it's been entirely pro bono. Anyway, let's see. Third set, Coco Gauff starting on serve, and it's already low 30 on my screen.
Oh. Was there a double fault in there too, this game?
I'm not sure because I kind of started talking and forgot about watching the match.
No, I did too. I did see this point at love 30 where Qinwen hits a really big forehand winner down the line and steps in.
I did see this point at love 30 as well. It's bringing up 3 breakpoints for Qinwen with the forehand line working beautifully on this occasion. Coco was really far into her forehand corner and couldn't catch it. Love 30 here, love 40 here, 3 breakpoints in a row. She gets the return in play on the first point. That's already a start. We'll need to win a longer exchange with Coco here, though. Of trying to ramp it up, backhand cross, and eventually she gets the job done.
Coco with a big serve this time down the tee. So she does save 2 of the 3 big points. Can she save 1 more? Second serve, breakpoint down. Did Gauff make the first serve at love 40?
Yes.
Okay.
She did. It was like kind of the body, more or less, like quite T, but not quite T, but she did make it, yes.
Really intense backhand to backhand exchange here, 30-40. Qinwen the first to change directions and go down the line. Now they're going forehand to forehand. And this time Coco comes out on top. Some really good rally tolerance there from Coco.
Yeah, 3 breakpoint saves, some really tough moments in pretty much all these rallies, but she survives eventually. Of course, in this match, not taking 3 breakpoints. Yeah, you usually expect the game to be done when you're 3 breakpoints up. It's not like you're playing Ivo Karlovic here, even though these are some of the stronger servers on the WTA circuit.
Yeah. Coco though, wild forehand here at deuce. Definitely an unforced error at deuce, right? Was it really like pressured in a serious way?
Yeah. Might be a little drop of intensity after saving these 3 breakpoints and like getting really locked in to fend them off.
Okay, second serve, breakpoint number 4. Catches the ball toss. That's a double fault according to Brad Gilbert. Oh, and it's a double fault for real though. So, well, she did well to save the
showing up all that often, but I think it's the second time in this match already that she gets broken on a double fault after the first set, and she's only been broken 3 times. So
yes, indeed, and
it is quite impactful. If it's not happening all that often, but it is happening on the most important points.
yeah, I think it was a little bit of a drop in intensity at deuce.
Yeah.
Forehand deuce and then the double fault. Well, let's see. I mean, Qinwen went up an early break in the second set as well. Coco was able to come back. She will have to do the same here. Few people on Twitter talking about how there's like some random cheering in the middle of the points.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I missed the stats flashing up after the first game. The second set.
Me too.
Stand some good depth. The first point of this game. Okay. 1 hour ago was 58%. Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense. 1 hour ago was around the time where she was up at second break. Now I'd say it's definitely a little closer than 58-42. I think pedigree-wise, there's an argument that it's not so weak because 7 of the 8 players in the lineup have actually made a semifinal before at this very event, and the 8th is just a debutante in de Minaur. But in terms of the field compared to Alcaraz and Sinner, yeah, there's a big gap with the rest as far as the season goes. But also you have Zverev, who's very much a quality player of the tournament and in those divisions, and so. I think we pretty much said when we were previewing it, Damien and I, that like we'll be very surprised if any of Zverev, Carlos, or Yannick don't make the semis. And then kind of everybody else is kind of in a similar position after that.
Yeah, I think that this is more of a reflection on how generally the ATP Tour is, let's say, structured a bit right now, in that some of these players ranked between 5 and 15, they are actually not as dangerous as the players ranked below 15. Like, there are some really good players coming up and players that have a lot of explosive potential that they could potentially use to upset the other guys. Whereas then again, in the ATP finals, you have like Ruud, Rublev, de Minaur, who, I mean, right now, I don't really buy them winning against the top guys. So, yeah, I think it's more of a reflection of how the second half of the season generally has been looking, and that the last ATP 500 events, for example. If you look at who was in the final in Basel, Tokyo, Beijing, well, Beijing was in Alcaraz, but Basel, Tokyo, and Vienna. Like these are the guys that I think could have done a bit more, maybe even at the ATP finals, than some of the players who made it. And I think it would have been a more exciting field if some of them were there instead of, let's say, Casper Ruud, who hasn't won a match in forever. But maybe Casper will revive himself somehow. As Vansh said, I mean, he, Taylor, they did well in Turin before. So we know they have it. It's just a question of whether they will be able to find it.
Yeah. And let's see if Coco can find it here at 30 all. As she has a second serve to work with. And she hits a very good backhand down the line return, but Qinwen is quick to recover. Gets back in the middle, and they're having a really intense forehand to forehand exchange, but it's Gauff's gets another ball back, with this time Qinwen makes an unforced error, goes for a bit too much on the forehand inside out. So it will be a break back point for Coco. And there is a special Nadal episode coming this evening, according to John.
Yeah, I don't think it will be only for members, right? I think John would like to show it to the whole world.
Yes.
That's my assumption. I don't know if it's a quality episode. I mean, I was part of it, but I didn't watch it, obviously. But anything with me is quality, so.
I was 15 minutes late for my dentist appointment thanks to it, and I don't regret
it.
Yeah. I got a call as I was driving, like, "Are you going to come?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sorry, I just got a little bit."
I wasn't aware of that. I don't think you told us then.
Yeah, no, I had an appointment at 3:30, and I think I left at 3:30, but it's fine.
Okay. The show did go longer than we were expecting, but
yes. Ooh, this time Coco trying to change directions puts a little more loop on that forehand. Qinwen was nowhere near it, but Coco misses it wide. A little bit frustrating. As the match is now 2 hours long. Do you like how the camera always shows the time every time it's like a new hour of match time?
Yeah, it's a common trope. I mean, I don't really mind it. I understand it's a flashy shot for the producers of the event. I mean, like video production of the event, so I really don't mind that. It's pretty funny when they show that in a shot and then it doesn't actually happen because they already have to go to the point. Because I think most of the time they are just kind of guessing whether it will move any second now or not, which is actually what happened just like last minute here.
Yeah. Well, how about that?
Anyway,
she saves a break point and she plays two very good points after that. As you see, Gauff's rally hit points from set 1 to set 2. And we can see that she was just in general more offensive with her court position in the second set, as opposed to the first set, where she was defending from behind the baseline 55% of the time.
She needs a similar reaction here. And in the first set, yeah, she was taking a lot of these backhands like very far behind the line and still missing them. Then she started coming over on top of the ball a lot more. She does have that acceleration there that probably doesn't get mentioned a bit, like, that often, but she does. She's not like a only defensive, only counter-punching player.
Well, this is going to be a very important game to hold here, because if she goes down to the Gauff, could be trouble. As she almost did in the first, she almost did in the second set. She was down like 15-30 in this game, and then she got like really fired up as well, which she won of that. With a really good point at 30-0, and then ace down the tee to hold. But it wasn't looking good for her then. A lot of the comments as well in the chat and everything based on what we were saying, she was on that 5-game losing streak. But yeah, things changed pretty quickly, and then now here this is kind of a similar situation she finds herself in here again. Although a couple of really good points to start this game, including a nice acceleration on the forehand at 15 love. So, 30 love. Oh yes, I remember this funny photo from Nadal at 2021 DC.
Why is it funny?
I think it had like a caption in it. I don't
Okay.
think it was the caption, but yeah. What is this? Is the tournament with Lloyd Harris?
Yeah. Lloyd Harris. Was that the last match that Rafa played that year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
Oh, he called the Capitol the White House. Oh, okay, yeah, I remember.
Ah, yes, okay. Yeah, I remember that now, sure.
Oh, yeah, this is the classic one.
Yeah, I mean, it's very understandable.
Yeah. They're definitely not into that cringiness. Oh, yes, I remember this one with the Roger, of course. I don't want to look like I am going to be his boyfriend, though.
This is, I mean, that Ivanovic one, I always just look at this and like, what? Was Rafa just like raising up Ana Ivanovic back in whatever year? I mean, Ana Ivanovic is very attractive, but wasn't Rafa already with his wife at the time?
Yeah, he was.
It's weird for sure. Seems like this is not yet the days when Rafa had a PR team running his Twitter. Seems like this was really him. And,
Oh yes, I remember talking about this one very recently, and now I like challenges, but I'm not stupid. Because actually, Alcaraz said something pretty similar when he was asked, like, do you want to play Boo in the final, or do you want to play center? He's like, I'll stay Boo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember the fan one as well. And this one, I remember it was John Bartheim who actually asked him that question. Do you not feel like the best player in the world right now? This is 2008. By the way, back to the match, because Qinwen, I thought was going to go down here at 40-15 and just let Gauff have the service game, but she says, no, I'm going to continue playing offensive.
She had a pretty interesting 15-40 game in the second set as well, of course. It didn't actually end up helping her win that set, but she won a game from 15-40 on Coco's serve there at 5-3.
Yeah, second serve deuce here. This is a really big moment.
This is the moment when every Coco Gauff fan is like, is she going to land it? She did land it.
He absolutely pummeled this backhand, but Qinwen absorbed the pace. And then Gauff misses another backhand here, kind of trying to do something with it. Maybe she sort of didn't put enough spin on it, but
yeah, it's not a match where I'm calling this match point yet, but it will be a sizable advantage, needless to say.
It will, yeah. It seems tough to imagine Coco coming back and she lose this game, but you never know. I mean, it's not like not match point, but it's okay. Well, she hits an ace down the tee to save it. Could that be a big turning point?
It's a good slider as well. I thought it was a net cord for a moment because it kind of just like moved in the air, but I guess that was just a spin. 5 aces to Zheng's 2.
Yeah, forehand to forehand rally at deuce. Who's going to be the first to kind of go down the line? Let's see. Oh, except this time again, it's the Coco backhand. That's just, she's not quite able to control the incoming ball coming from Zheng. We've seen quite a few misses either in the net or long, or just kind of trying to keep the rally going. And it just feels like Zheng right now is hitting the ball a little bit harder, making a few less mistakes. She has a lot more control on her ground strokes at this point. And yeah, all these 3 games so far have gone to deuce, and Zheng has won 2 of them. Brazy asked Damon, how did Qinwen improve her serve so much in under 6 months? It went from a liability to a weapon. This is a good point because I do think her serve in 2022 was one of the best parts for a game. But then last year it kind of did, and especially in the first half or most of the year, it wasn't really a huge weapon. But it went from being it went back up in 2024, didn't it?
I'm not sure. I would have to check. Like, wasn't she already serving very well in 23? Like, one of the best rates. I think we had some watch-alongs for her, like the latter part of 2023, when she was already top of the.
It's when she started to kind of fund it, but I don't think it was like,
I think she was already top of the leaderboard in terms of first serve points won.
Aces, yeah. But she also had like a lot of double faults, so it was kind of.
Yeah, I mean her ball toss is.
And also her first serve percentage in, I think, was a little lower. It was like below 50%.
I think it was 51 last year or something like that.
Yeah, because I think the last the second half of the year it got a lot better. But I remember first half of the year last year, Qinwen was very underwhelming. Like because there was so much hype from 2022, and then sort of like until she won Palermo, she was like not having a good year based on expectations.
Yes.
But post Palermo, yeah, she was really good second half of the year.
Almost made the top 10.
Yeah, almost made the top 10. And she also made the final of the Elite Trophy and then lost to Haddad Maya. But like she's made the final of every single level of event. That's pretty big, right? She's made the final of 250, 500, Elite Trophy, 1000, WTA finals, and a major. And she won the Olympic gold. So she's done all of that.
Especially being now that the Elite Trophy, it's never going to be held again.
It will never be held again, yes. Instead, they need to do a WTA Next Gen Finals.
Indeed.
Well, I think that was a pretty big hold for Coco. Saving break point with an ace down the tee. Getting out of that game. Oh wow, Norland, man, oh gosh, how does he come up with these questions? I tell you, he's just unbelievable with this stuff.
Oh wow. Insane.
It's so detailed and so specific as well. If I was a roommate with Damien.
I think first of all it would have to be like Vange who would have to convince me to wash dishes every day. Although I am very economical with my dishes, like I only really use one plate, which I do because, I eat. Then when I have to eat something again, I wash that plate and then I use it again. So in a way, I don't actually have that many dishes that get like stacked up, which also means that the little dishes, like the few dishes that actually I have to wash, like they just basically are in the sink for months because I just don't use it all that much. Like I'm mostly using one set of spoon, fork, bowl, and plate. So I think it would mostly be Vange who would have to convince me. Yes.
You don't have, since you live only by yourself, right? You don't need like a dishwasher or anything because there's not.
No. I mean, I know that people sometimes want a dishwasher in their house, but personally, I think for my private use, I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's worth it. To load up a full dishwasher, like it would actually take a while. I would much rather just, if I had a dishwasher, I would still be using the sink. That's basically, it would just be a piece of furniture in my house.
Yeah, because it still takes like 3-4 hours for it to clean, and then you have to wait for it to.
And I mean, bigger problem is even the fact that you would have to like load up a full dishwasher, which would probably take me like 2 weeks or whatever. It's very different in my like even my parents, they live by themselves right now, but they still use a dishwasher and they use they use up a lot more dishes when I'm there. Obviously, then there's like 3 times as many as when you're living by yourself. And yeah, sure, it's fine, but I would say even they could be like using the sink, and it's probably more economical water-wise even. I think feel like Nurlan could be like chat GPTing some of these questions. Find me an absurd question to ask somebody, and he gets that. He's like Stefanos Tsitsipas of Twitter.
Qinwen has been very economical when it comes to her unforced errors and winners in this third set so far. Just very few mistakes. getting to really big targets. Doing very well right now. So
when she was risking, it was at like 1540.
Yeah.
187 ace out wide now. Nurlan GPT is better. Yeah, I agree. I feel like Chat GPT wouldn't be able to come up with the questions that Nurlan is asking. Even if you asked for something absurd, it would just give you something much more normal.
Do you generally like prefer to live on your own when it comes to like your lifestyle? Like, or would you rather like you had a roommate or something?
I mean, it was fun living with people and at the university. If it's kind of natural that after you finish school, you probably start living on your own most of the time. I don't know. I guess I just don't mind either way. If someone right now offered to like live with me and would be better money wise and was someone I liked, why not? But I don't mind living by myself whatsoever. Not sure if my lifestyle contributes to that in any way. Like, I think I'm a very pleasant roommate, other than maybe, well, nah, I mean, yeah, I don't think anyone could ever really have an issue because I just watch tennis all day, so
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it's fun.
Well, we have another hold that was supposed to be easy but might not be, and that's actually from Qinwen's perspective now.
Yeah, 40-15.
She was 40-15 up.
Really feeling the pressure. I mean, Gauff did well. That 40-30 point kind of pushed Qinwen on her back foot, but then the point afterwards.
Yeah,
that was
it was a strong second serve here at deuce too.
Yeah. So
she really went for it. And yet it wasn't enough.
Oh, and this time she goes for a drop shot. Is Coco going to get to it? She does get to it. And she hits a volley and she covers that. And she is so happy, as she should be, because, wow. She wasn't in a great position when she got to that drop shot. I mean, she kind of slid into it. Qinwen had the whole court to work with, but Coco did really well to anticipate and just get, like, somehow stab this backhand volley. And she got just enough racket on it. Qinwen trying to go for the pass, but hits it long.
Yeah, just had to go for it, had to stretch, and somehow she manages to get the break back, even though she was 0-2 off, 30-40 down previous game. I think.
Add out, and then so it wasn't looking good for her.
That ace she found down the tee on break point last game. So now she's back.
Yeah, Qinwen 40-15 out with the chance to go up 3-1. Let's see if this has any kind of carryover effect, because so far both of these girls, they've been up and down, but they've found a way to kind of like not really they've done well to kind of like be on really level terms and not let the other player like just run away with a lot. There was that stretch where Qinwen won 5 games in a row, but
right after Coco won 4, I think, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like from, well, I mean, yeah, like love 2, and then was just back on serve. And from there, she won 5 of the next 6 of the next 8, actually. But yeah. Yeah, 3-1 down. So I mean, 5 of the next 6 games in the second set, and yeah, in this set, I mean, Qinwen didn't hold for 3-1. Otherwise, could have had kind of a similar situation. But instead, Gauff gets the break a little bit earlier. And if she holds here at love, That puts a lot of pressure on Qinwen the next service game. She's up 40 love in this game. Is she about to get a rare love hold? And she is indeed. So she leads 3-2. Yeah, this year, I mean, I guess we've seen kind of 3 matches between similar-esque players. I mean, I would also throw in Marta Kostyuk in there as well. Like, we've seen some kind of messy matches, like Kostyuk versus Gauff. Australian Open quarterfinals will be memorable for, not for the quality of the match, but just, well, like, just what a street fight that was. And then you had Kostyuk playing those matches in Stuttgart against Qinwen and Coco, getting to the final there. Kind of that was the highlight of her season, actually. The Australian Open quarters, and then Stuttgart getting to the finals. And then now you see a couple of matches between these two as well. Like, when it comes to like stylistically or kind of just how these players match up, it's kind of interesting because it's not always like the highest quality tennis, but you know, when you have like similar-ish kind of game styles with like counter punchers who also have that option of like accelerating on their ground strokes, it does lead to like, you know, close matches where you can't really, there's like very little separating them, but it's a very different contrast from say like a Rybakina Sabalenka.
Yeah, them going 3-2 here probably officially means that I might not be able to catch the ending of this match, but we'll see. I think I will leave maybe in about 15 minutes. I'll figure it out later. When the time comes. Johannes Monday, in the meantime, won the set against Eubanks, so it's a decider now. I mean, at this stage, I would probably be surprised if Eubanks beat Monday, to be honest. Might be a bit harsh on Chris, but he's definitely been more of a challenger quarter finalist the last few months rather than a challenger champion. Maybe he can turn it around here and also fight for the Australian Open main draw, either via top 100 or via the wildcard challenge.
You know what's one match that Chris really wants back this year? It is the Halle quarterfinal against
Yeah, against Zheng. Yeah. That's should have thought of that right away. I was thinking Miami at first, but that he actually won that one against Evans. But yeah, that Halle one, yes. I mean, that's like additional what? 100 points?
100
Yeah.
points. Yeah,
100 points additional, yeah. So that already puts him like on the verge of the top 100 right now.
But he would have lost in the next round, but still, like 100.
He would have, but yeah, that's why I'm saying like 100. You know, I'm not thinking 100 and the chance to go further. No, this was just for 100. But obviously, he was like 5-2 or 5-3 ups in the third. So on grass with a serve like this, you kind of have to expect to win it.
Yeah, well, strong game from Qinwen here to go up 30 love. Could we get 2 love holds in a row?
It would be very unlike this match.
Yes, indeed. I think the WTA top 5 is very fitting in many respects right now. I mean, you have Sabalenka and Swiatek, who won 3 of the 4 majors. Then you got Zheng and Paulini, who've made their splashes in slam finals, plus the 1000.
You've got a name there that kind of stands out.
Wait, what? I do? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if Paulina really stands out because she's worthy of a top 5 this year.
In terms of sheer achievements, yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Well, the surprise might be that Krejcika was not in there because she won Wimbledon, but then that's kind of most of what she did the whole year. So
yeah, not a love hold in the end. Gauff forcing that error of.
Well, there's that point at 30-15. This time Coco goes right at Zheng. Zheng misses the volley. Kind of tough with all the pace coming in. You think Zheng can get a little bit better than that? I think that's definitely an area she can improve.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not like the most pressing issue, but we've already seen it hurt her like 2-3 times today.
Yeah.
And yeah, this one is there's not all that much pace on it, like on the pass here. You have the ability.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I think a decent volley would have made it.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we look at this and then, then again, like a player is at the net 5 times a match, probably on the WTA circuit, if 5 times a match. But obviously, if we're talking about like real top level players, like these sort of slim margins can very easily decide titles, matches. So obviously, it would be good to improve.
It does not stop her from holding serve. So.
Yeah, a bit of a classic Gauff forehand error there.
Are you already on the next point? Are you already at 3-all? I mean, are you at 3-all? Are you talking about the first point at 3-all or the point before?
Oh, I was still talking about the points to end the game.
Okay.
I'm using a stream that's like, pretty far behind you, but it's been fine. I don't care about you spoiling anything or anything like that. I don't mind at all. Ooh, that was a rocket.
Yeah. Qinwen just absolutely blasted that forehand. After the loopier ball, it wasn't even that short in the court. It was,
it's a good combo when you first go heavy, spinny, and then just flatten out the next shot like this.
Yeah. Oh, Coco also is like, all right, you want to trade backhands? Well, I'm just gonna hammer one cross court this time.
Yeah. Even though she was like pretty out of position, that's kind of what she was, I guess, hoping to do many times in this match, but it was never really overwhelming Qinwen like this in these cross court exchanges.
Yeah. All right, well, 15-all, she hits some really nice wide serve, but Qinwen does so well to slide into it. And oh my goodness, what a shot from Qinwen.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Down the line. That was amazing because I thought the wide serve was really good. I thought the backhand cross was really good. Qinwen not only got there, she got there with plenty of time. She got so much on this cross court backhand. And a really good angle as well. That was really well done. Full marks there.
Very similar backhand cross as well from Gauff again with lots of raw pace, and this time she's so much more ready for it. She reads it well, and she just plays it down the line for a winner.
Yeah. Oh, and this time again, I mean, yeah, Gauff was trying to attempt to do the same thing, just try to hit a really powerful backhand and win that exchange, but this time she hits it in the net while trying to flatten it out. But also, it's just the pressure that Qinwen has put on her in this game with some of these points. And pushing for the break here. 15-40. Second serve. Oh, another backhand unforced error from Coco.
She was like really trying to slam it again. This was a game of huge backhands crosscourt from Gauff, except only one won her the point.
Yeah.
And that's a break for Zheng that once again puts her in a commanding position in this very topsy-turvy final. John is very excited for breaks.
I was a little bit though surprised that like Coco is like going for so much on these backhands, just trying to almost finish the point or just blast away at all of them. Does she not kind of back her ability to kind of, stay neutral and win some of these points? Maybe because Zheng is matching her in that department, she feels like I gotta go for more.
That's a tough question, Brazy. I think mostly Polish, but definitely in English as well. I guess maybe depends on, I don't even know on what it depends. Like if I'm at a shop and I'm thinking, what to buy or something, what was I supposed to buy? I'm probably doing that in Polish, but I definitely do think in English a lot as well. If I'm thinking about, I don't know, just some, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what it really depends on, but definitely both. Yeah, 4-3 up. Just 2 holds away. I think this match has definitely, since the opening set, which featured just 1 break, this match has definitely like kind of stopped going to the servers all that much. They're both returning their first serves very well. Only 66-67% of points won by both. Actually, the stats are super similar on the second serve as well, 37-34%. The stats are like exactly the same, honestly, for both players, many of them.
Yep, you see some people on Twitter here.
In fact, it's actually Coco right now who has more points won than Qinwen by 2. But of course, it's Qinwen who's up on the scoreboard at the moment.
Although Coco's got to be careful here. She's not just, let this match go a little bit here. This forehand was very tame to start the point. I start that game was like almost bottom of the net.
No, I mean, I don't think I need to tell it to switch. That would be kind of stupid if you were like forced to just go, oh yeah, go for it. I don't know. I've definitely had like streams when I suddenly started talking Polish or the other way around, or instances of that in my life.
Oh, wow. I mean, it's just like Coco has to do so much to try to win a point right now with the way Zheng is defending, and you see that point at 15.
Yeah, I think I was mentioning that in the first set that like the athleticism and speed of Zheng doesn't really get mentioned that often in contrast to Coco's, but it's up there as well.
It really is up there, yeah.
I think it's also something that has improved about her game. I don't know, maybe they were doing like some specific drills for that and everything, but I think 2 years ago you probably wouldn't see her sliding like this and getting wrong-footed more often. And
Ooh, once again, it's Coco trying to make something happen with the backhand, and he's trying to flatten a lot of these out, and that's where a lot of these errors are coming. I mean, a lot of them are coming in the net in this set as well, like not so many long, but just more in the net, which means she's not hitting with that much shape and height. She's trying to just, either go for the winner or just force an error with it by just hitting it straight and flat. But going against her style most of the time, but also that's how well Zheng is defending.
that's an ace down the tee, 40-15. Can she get just 1 game away?
She is now 1 game away. 5-3.
She is after another forehands. That's just, well, the definition of overcooked from Gauff. Just one game away, and it's probably the last game I will watch. So, well, I mean, if you want me to see you win the WTA finals, Qinwen, you have to break here.
We'll see if this kind of has a little bit of a carryover effect. In the first set, we did see Coco not win another game from 3-all, and the same thing might happen here. She's not careful, because she does lose that first point. I would say right now, Qinwen is just like an absolute wall. Like, she's just so locked in. And in control of her shots. It's kind of been like that the whole set, apart from the win service game she got broken. She was 40-15 up in that game as well. So if we were saying the Love 2 is kind of like a must-win service game, this is definitely a must-win service game. All right here. As we see this time, Zheng absolutely going for his best.
Ballistic again on that inside out back end.
Yeah.
Or, well, yeah, I think we can call it inside out. I mean, it's pretty much middle of the court, but it's similar to that one winner she had in the opener, but there was a lot of a shorter angle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
she's been very good all week as well.
Because
choosing that one ball to crack.
The winner that came at 2-all 15-40, right? That was the backhand inside out.
Yeah.
That was a crazy moment to pull it off. But now 30-all here. As Gauff gets the first serve return winner. And if Coco holds here, it'll be a very interesting next few minutes. With Zheng trying to serve out the title. Apart from the Sabalenka matchup, Zheng has been really, really good the second half of the year, right?
Huh?
I mean, it's basically only been Arena Sabalenka that's been her biggest hurdle in the second half of the year.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I mean, again, Qinwen fired up, definitely. Sort of like US Open and around, yeah. Maybe last year it was from Palermo onwards. This time it was probably from US Open onwards. But still, yeah, it's another strong finish. I mean, the net court was... Well,
I've just seen the net court point. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
What can you do? Coco is also like... Her face was like...
Yeah. I mean, the match could be done now. Of course, we don't know because the point would have been different. But, yeah.
Okay, will we get the hold though? Not yet. It's a deep shot again on the heavy second serve return from Zheng.
Where are you guys at? Are you at deuce right now?
Oh, I'm way behind you guys. I'm 40-30. I'm now deuce.
Oh, okay. There's a really good volley here at deuce that Coco pulls off on the forehand.
Yeah, I'm like 20 seconds away from that probably.
Comes in the
well, okay, I've seen it now. Well, I kind of want them to end game, whatever the score is. Okay, and Google already tells me on our stream that the game is over. So I don't think I will brazy after all. Anyway, see you in about an hour, I guess, then.
Yep, see you then.
All right, see you, Damien.
So, Blair Henley and Pam Shriver are going crazy about this match. Are they right to be going crazy in terms of like, wow, this is like a great advert for tennis?
Yes, I think it has been like a fun watch. I mean, they've been able to extract a lot of really good points off of one another with their athleticism, their movement, anticipation. Like we have seen really good competitive tennis from that standpoint. You always want the final match of the season to be decided in a competitive thriller, and I guess we are getting that. Is it like the match of the year? Probably not, but it's still a very. I think it's a nice advert for sure.
I fell asleep during the first set on my sofa, not because of the quality of the match, Vanch, but just because I was so tired. But I only fell asleep for like 20 minutes. But I couldn't believe it. 40 minutes on the clock, and I think it was 3-all.
Yeah, it was really that physical. Like the first 6 games of the match, I mean, they were having like 15, 20 shot rallies on the regular, and it was like really good rally tolerance, short cardio, like, and not so many like double faults or anything like that. It was very sustained, strong hitting from both of them. So, and then I think eventually, like, then Qinwen pulled away. She won the next 5 games, and then it seemed like, oh, this is running away from Coco. She doesn't hold here and goes down double break in the second set.
Yeah,
it could well have been, but then she gets that crucial hold. She gets the momentum switch, and then she goes on a run of and wins 5 of the next 6 games from 3-6, 1-3, and then now we have this really competitive third.
Zheng, do we like her nerve? Do we like her ability under pressure? I do, pretty much. I mean, she's obviously won some big titles already. But she looks pretty composed right now as she's preparing to come back, having a munch on a banana and a mopping of the brow.
Yeah. Okay, the first point of this game is really good for her. She hits a really nice serve out wide and catches Coco, wrong foot serve, hits a forehand winner, cross court behind her, instead of going to the open court where Coco was anticipating. So that's a really good serve +1.
For my predictions, a Coco title winning performance today would not be good because I think I said in the preview or when we did the draw last week, saying I couldn't see a path for Coco to win the title. I just couldn't see her even emerging from the group with a fully fit Jessica Pegula. I think things would have been different, of course. But also, I didn't see her obviously overcoming Iga as comfortably as she did.
Yeah, I think the Pegula one, I think none of us were right on that because we just didn't know about Pegula's injury thing. But yeah, she got the win over Coco in straights, which was, I think, really big.
Yeah. Hi, Jake, by the way. I was on the beers last night, so today I'm recovering, let's say. That's part of the reason why I was having a snooze on the sofa. I think Nerlan, I think he's more of a tea and sparkling water kind of guy. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just watching this second point of the game. Coco just being pretty solid on the forehand and just waits for the error. That might well be a thought process to see how Zheng's nerve is.
Yeah. It's actually been the backhand for Coco that's been,
Yeah, you said. Yeah, I heard you say during commentary. Yeah.
It's not been the forehand. The forehand, for the most part, is held up pretty well.
Yeah. She probably takes a bit more risk on the backhand, and maybe that's.
She is. She's going for a lot more. She's like trying to flatten it out. A lot of times she was missing in the net because, I mean, Zheng was also defending really well. She was liking those backhand-to-backhand trades. And, yeah, I think she's done. Zheng has mostly been favored in both the cross-court patterns this tournament. I mean, in this matchup, like really the whole time, because Zheng has also been hitting those really good forehand down the lines. But I think when Coco like gets a little bit more central and away from the corners, then she's having a little more success because then Zheng is feeling like, okay, I have to be the one pressing and going for more. And that's kind of the error that we saw at 15 love, and also the next point.
Couple of
15-30. Ooh, another mistake here from
couple
Zheng,
of. Yes, they were 2 tense shots. I would say the forehand that went into the tram line and then the backhand that went long there was just sort of mistimed, I think.
And then you're going to see another forehand miss on the next point as well. It's going to go long.
Yeah.
And she made the first serve and everything.
She made the first serve, but oh, dearie me, but she's got to be doing more with that. I mean, she was even still quite cautious with that one in terms of she wasn't going close to the tram line. And if it hadn't gone out, Gauff might well have got a decent racket on it. But there's an anxious-looking team, 15-40.
Yeah. Second serve here at 15-40.
I've liked some of Zheng's second serves today, but some of those kick serves out wide that you highlighted earlier, for example.
Yeah. Now they're getting into that backhand-to-backhand pattern, which has been good for Zheng, but now they're going forehand cross, and this time Zheng finds a really good angle on the forehand, and Coco not quite getting back in the point. She misses this one. Okay, she missed it wide. So it's 30-40 now. Saves the first break point.
Either way, she gets a bit lucky there with the net cord, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't change the rally too much, but yeah. Yes, it is a forehand error from Coco. Do hit the like button, and if you are new to the channel, do hit subscribe. We might not be live for much longer, we'll see.
And there's a really good point here, and this time Coco with some really good depth. Zheng trying to get that backhand away from Coco, but it looks like she's just hit that backhand long.
Oh dear.
So it is Gauff who gets the break back. Wow, we have another twist here.
At the beginning, I mean, there's been so many twists in this match, but there's been quite a few matches like that. Even some of the straight sets. That was mighty close, by the way. But yeah, I think it was long. Well, it was long. There was almost a thought of a serve and volley there. I mean, or maybe it was just the fact that her momentum from her serve took her so deep into the court, and then she quickly realized where she was and decided to get back to the baseline ASAP. It didn't really change the course of the point. I just think it was an interesting point that I don't know if she was thinking of serving and volleying, or it was just the way the serve panned out. But she sort of found herself well inside the baseline after the serve. Anyway, 5-all.
5-all, but this time, yeah, Coco's trying to break the sideline with the backhand, and she does miss. So she's down left 15 on her serve here.
There could be 2 or 3 more twists yet.
Yeah.
But you'd think Coco will be feeling pretty good and Zheng will be feeling pretty bad, but whatever.
Yeah. She does make the first serve in the next point to get the rally started. Coco with a little slice on the forehand this time, mixing things up a little bit, going forehand cross, and she does get the error, so she wins a forehand. She loses the backhand to backhand one. So.
If you're feeling nervous trying to serve out a match, Gauff is not the ideal opponent, that's for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of getting the ball back in and playing. Yes, she might give you a cheap point on her forehand side, but some pretty low net coverage from Zheng. Maybe that was why the next point she decided to go way clear of the net and then dumped it long. So 15-all.
Gauff catching a few of these tosses. She really wants to get this right on the second serve. She does not want to double fault. Okay, she does get this. It's a bit of a slower second serve for sure. But she's on her way back into the rally. She's trying to be offensive again on the backhand cross. This time just playing it safe. They're both going backhand to backhand. Coco running around the backhand, hitting a forehand inside out. And this time Zheng was trying to go forehand inside in because she sees Coco's at the backhand corner. But she hits the net cord and it just goes out. So the net cord, yeah, not doing her much favors there, actually, on that point. So Coco does get it. So 30-15.
The first serve from Coco was so far out.
I know, it's just, it must be like the arm is so tight at this point.
Yeah.
Especially on the second serve, you'll see it like really went down. 126 Ks on the second.
Yeah, that net cord. I think the hesitation that you and I would have in terms of like this being an excellent advert for tennis is perhaps neither player have really played at their absolute best for long periods.
Yeah, it's been like one of those like momentum swinging matches, right? Where like one player goes and wins like 4 of the next 5 games, then goes wins 5 of the next 6, and then you just happen to be in a really tight one. But oh, it's good drama, I guess.
Yeah. No, give me drama. I'm all for drama. I don't mind a terrible match if there's drama. I mean, one of my favorite matches of all time was the 2001 Wimbledon final between Ivanisevic and Pat Rafter. I think the 5th set. I haven't watched it for years. I mean, I watched it live when it was happening on a Monday. Hello, this surely is Qinwen's point, and it is with a volley.
Yes. She comes forward there.
But yeah, the 5th set was very messy.
Oh my goodness! But this 30-all point right here is massive because Coco, hit that serve out wide. She got She hits that forehand line, but oh my goodness, she doesn't end up winning. Zheng's defense in this rally is crazy. And she shrinks the court so much. She gets the forehand squash shot back as well. And then Coco again going really close to the sideline on the backhand. And she just pulls it wide. Right here.
Coco had at least one chance to come into the net, maybe two.
She did, yes. She could have come into the net earlier in the rally.
Oh,
She chose to
dear.
kind of hang back, get the middle. She got the ball that she wanted, though. She just kind
Yeah,
of,
but her
Yeah.
positioning, her body positioning and shape was all wrong.
30-40. She's still continuing to be aggressive with the backhand. Not really holding back there.
Great defense there from Zheng.
Really good. It's kind of hanging on here, but this time she gets the error, and this time a little bit more central from Zheng, trying to go close to the sideline. Misses it. Misses the forehand inside out. It's almost like when she gets Zheng into the corners, Zheng has just been so good at hitting quality balls on the stretch. Like Coco feels like she has to do a lot more with the next shot. But when Coco takes some pace off, gets some more air under it, and plays more central, then she actually gets errors from Zheng.
Yeah.
So, like that point that she did to save break point, she got the error.
I mean, it's deuce on my screen, 5-all.
Yeah, same on mine, deuce.
Maybe Coco's slight favourite now. I mean,
This was another slow second serve at 124. Very, very nervy. She wins this point, though. She gets another error from Zheng. Just like
There you go.
I'm not trying to overplay. It's very easy to overplay with how well Zheng defends.
I've just watched that second serve. Just seen it. Oh dear. I mean, Zheng, really, these last two games.
These last two points, I guess, right? Like she was.
Yeah, but the forehand it seems to be the forehand a lot of the time that's spraying the errors right now.
Yeah.
I mean, has Coco
But
hit a
it's
winner?
the opposite for Coco, right? It's been the backhand that's spraying the errors, and the forehand is like.
Yeah. I mean, I don't recall a Coco Gauff winner since I joined the stream. Could be wrong.
Game point here. Kind of a neutral rally. This time Gauff did make the first serve, and she does get the error from Zheng, who hits it a little bit long. So she hit like 3 balls long in this game from breakpoint down. Really felt it, I guess. But Zheng is, both these pairs are confident enough right now that even when they're breakpoint down or when they're down in the score, they are like going for it. They aren't holding back. So that's been fun to see.
Yeah, I do fear the worst for Zheng right now as
I do as well.
Zhao.
Yeah. This
Whether
next service game, boy.
Next service game, but even if it does go to a tie break, she might be able.
I'm slightly leaning Coco didn't win this match now.
Yeah,
I think that hold was huge.
Yeah, from 30-40. Yeah, obviously having served for the match as well and getting to 15 love before kind of collapsing. Yeah, I mean, even if she, maybe a nice comfortable hold will give us some belief that she can serve solidly into the tie break. But the Tupperware is out anyway for Coco.
None of the holds have been easy for either player this match, except for one from Coco at 2-all where she held for love.
Really? Is that like the whole match has been like?
Oh no, I mean just in this set. There were some easier holds like earlier on, but in this set, no, it's been a war.
We're looking at. I was looking at Qinwen 15 minutes ago, and you and I were positing that she's pretty good under pressure. She looked calm, but the racket said otherwise.
And she played a very good first point. She went
first point fine.
Love. It was very good. Like she hit behind Coco, and then all of a sudden, she's one of those players who doesn't hold back either when she's feeling the nerves. So it's not like she's going to start pushing the ball. She's going to like really go after it, but she just missed 3 points in a row.
Just to tell everyone some shows that we've got coming up. We've got ATP Weekly starting in about 45 minutes with Damien and Mario as they look towards both the ATP finals, of course, beginning in Turin tomorrow, but also looking back on some 250 action where we saw Bonzi and Shapovalov lifting titles today. We've also got WTA Weekly tomorrow with Renee Stubbs and Nick, of course. And that will be at 4 p.m. GMT, which I guess is 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific Time. But anyway, that's all to come. Zheng gets off to a good start again at 15 love with a good serve out wide.
She gets the unreturned, which actually has been quite rare in this set because I just saw a graphic on the screen and only 12% of her first serves have been unreturned in this set. But that was one of them, so that's good.
But you'd expect a bit more than that, wouldn't you, from someone who
You
serves?
would, yeah. In the first set, she got 55% first serves unreturned.
Oh,
in the
wow.
second set, it was 25%, and in this set, it's 12%.
Yeah. Has she taken off a bit on that first serve? Is she just feeling tired or even mentally finding it difficult?
Yes, and also
She
Gauff
was almost
is
stood still at one point there. I mean, just the one thing you don't want to ever be doing on a tennis court. She was just sort of had her legs stuck on the court at one point.
Yes,
15-all.
the footwork has gone a little bit awry for sure, as we see on the next point at 15-all. Gauff also knows that most of the times on the deuce side, she's going out wide. So she's ready for that serve. And so if she hits a good quality serve even down the middle, then she's forcing Zheng to, like, be more proactive with the feed, and then she gets the mistakes. Like here at 15-all, a little deeper ball, not much pace, a lot of height, and Zheng misses it in the net.
Yeah. Coco 2 points away now from the title.
So yeah, this is a huge moment, and I got to feel like Coco's feeling good about her chances here.
Yeah, I think she
Let's
must
get the first serve. She gets the first serve return back again, and it's pretty deep. And now she's in the point with. It feels like she has the upper hand. She has the court position advantage. They're going backhand to backhand, and Zheng this time tries to change directions, and she misses in the net. So yeah, I just feel like that last game was so big, to save that break point, and I had a bad feeling about Zheng coming into this game. And
Yeah,
now she has to face 2 championship points.
indeed. And again, it's an unforced error. Again, it was sort of trying to do something within the rally because she just probably wanted to get out of just a straight rally with Coco. And she dumped that backhand in the net.
Oh, but on the next point at 15-40, man, she goes for the forehand. She goes for it cross court and she gets a winner.
I love those
like,
pictures of the trophy in the background when they're about to serve. I remember it during the Aussie Open of 2017, Nadal Federer, just some crystallized moments where you just sort of they honed in on the trophy, which is obviously just that forehand. Wow.
Yeah, amazing. It was just a rocket. But now she misses the first serve. Championship. It's a pressure moment here. Second serve, 30-40.
I mean, she's almost lost this match twice, if you like, in terms of being up a set and a break, and now obviously serving for the match as well.
Backhand, and oh my goodness, Coco gets the she hits like a little slice. She brings Zheng forward, but Zheng is very quick to get to the net, and Coco has to hit a pass here, and she misses the backhand pass. Tries to go down the tee with it. Oh wow!
Wow.
Yeah, this was tense, but I mean, credit to Zheng because she actually got quite a lot on that, shot. And
there was a big backhand there from her. But it was a lovely sort of drop shot, but Coco will be a little disappointed with at least not making up.
Like not getting it over the net or not getting it, at least making her play the ball.
If she gets that over the net, it's a far from easy volley for
Qinwen. She just didn't get it over the net.
It was a lovely little improvised drop shot that she pulled out of nowhere.
Yeah. Oh, first serve, really good location. Out wide, and then big forehand in the middle of the court this time. Even though Coco was anticipating it, she couldn't get there in time because the quality was just so good, and now she has game point.
Wow.
Okay, I mean, credit to Zheng, I guess, for being brave at 15-40, and then also dealing with the improvised drop shot pretty well.
Yeah.
And then the point after that was pretty good as well with the wide serve. Wow. Second serve. Oh, and this time Coco just completely misses the backhand. Second serve return. Very, very wild shot there. Oh, okay, tiebreak.
So we are indeed going into a tiebreak.
I tell you what, I was confident about Coco winning this game once she saved that break point at 5-all and got out of that. But oh no, now it's going to be a little tougher, right? With the 2 match points.
Yeah, I still think that she's the more solid player at the moment. So, but yeah, I mean, 15-40.
Yeah, I guess this is pretty nice and fitting. Final set tiebreak for the final.
Yeah,
match
right.
of the WTA season.
WTA Tour Finals final.
Oh, and she gets a serve +1 forehand winner to start the point for Coco. Nice serve out wide, and then a forehand where, yeah, I mean, it wasn't like the most easy forehand for her, but she caught the line there. It was like very close to her body, but she pulled it off. Okay.
Yeah, so it's Coco who starts slightly stronger.
Yeah, another first serve return that comes back here. Zheng having to retrieve a forehand on her back foot, and Coco putting a lot of air on these forehands, looping it up really high. And she gets the mistake from Zheng, who hits the net as she's backing up, trying to hit a backhand. A little bit of hesitancy, or maybe just like not as sharp of a footwork as could have been in that point. She kind of was a little bit stuck with her feet there.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
Love to.
These big loopy shots from Coco, she's not dealing with them very well.
No, it's been really effective, especially going down the middle and just making Zheng generate all the pace when she's tight. It's been a good strategy for Coco. So second serve. This feels like a must-win point for Zheng, if I'm honest.
Already, yeah.
Second serve, though, right here. Yeah. Backhand to backhand. Zheng does well with the inside out, gets the forehand that she wants, but she just sprays the forehand. Middle of the court. Wow. That's a big miss. No, Brazy, this is a regular tiebreak. It's not a 10-point tiebreak. So it's first to 7. And it's Coco with a double break. Double mini break, I should say.
Double mini break, yeah. I don't know how many unforced errors we've seen since she was serving for the match, but it feels like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
From neutral positions, you know, and from maybe even a couple of times being up in rallies.
Coco using some good width on her forehand to stretch Zheng out in this rally, but they're back to neutral now. They're kind of just trading down the middle. Zheng trying to change the pattern, go down the line, but once again, Coco just loops it back in, you know, a lot of shape, height, not much speed on the shot, and Zheng has to create all that pace herself, and she misses it in the net. And once again, it was kind of middle of the court, kind of, you know, yeah, it's definitely an unforced error for sure, no doubt. So 4-love. Wow, I tell you, if she goes up 5-love in this tiebreak.
Honestly, it feels like we're getting close to about, since serving for the match, we're definitely in double figures. We may even be over 15 unforced errors just in these last,
I tell you, I was impressed with Zheng from 15-40 to win that game.
Yeah.
Impressive, but since then, I mean, yeah, this tiebreak has been awful for her. Like 5-love now. And she's hit like at least 3 unforced errors in those 5 points.
Yeah.
Just too many mistakes.
Yeah, that shank there on the serve turn. I mean, hold your 2 serves here, get a couple of first serves in. I guess maybe she can feel a bit more relaxed because just don't know where her confidence will be at though.
Here. And Coco playing, you know, sensible shots, like just high margins, like
she's not going to want to watch this. She's not going to want to watch this match ever again in her life if she does go on to lose it.
Another unforced error, just trying to make something happen out of a neutral ball like that, and just I mean, Coco's really kind of broken her down in terms of like rally tolerance, patience, 6-love as the change ends. This is definitely over now, right?
Yeah. I'm sure in tennis history it has happened, but oh dear. I mean, that was sort of Nick Kyrgios Wimbledon final of 2022 bailing out of a rally in terms of just having no idea how to win a point, as he had against Novak
Yeah, I
Djokovic.
also feel like her feet have definitely frozen up a little bit in this tiebreak. Like, I don't think she's been like proactive enough in terms of her footwork, getting around the ball fast enough. I guess that's also nerves, tiredness as well. I mean, they've been playing for 3 hours and just running between corner to corner.
Yeah. And Zheng played, when did she play? Yesterday or the day before?
You know, they both played yesterday.
Of course they did, yeah.
Yeah, and Coco actually played second, so. Okay, she does win 1 point at least.
Wait. I don't know what the chat between Coco and the umpire was about. So that's 3 championship points she saved now, Zheng.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is her 4th. It's 6-1.
Yeah, sorry, you thought I'd suddenly jumped ahead on the stream or something.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, 6-12 to 6-3 now, but it's still 6-1. Okay, I mean, I guess
point number 4 on Coco's.
Close her eyes and try to make something happen. Then she does here with the backhand. She just goes for an absolute rocket. She does get the error though, so 6-2.
Whee.
The 5th championship point here for Coco Gauff to win the WTA finals. On the heels of a Beijing 1000 title as well and a Wuhan 1000 semi.
Yeah.
It's really been a good post US Open since.
Very good. I think, I mean, maybe a little bit less so today. I would love to ask Coco, are you playing better?
Oh my goodness, and what a way to win the title with the serve out wide and then the forehand in the corner, but with a little bit of a continental grip as well with the slice. And yeah, Zheng was nowhere near it. So wow, she falls to the ground. And
it's huge. And I've been so impressed with Coco this last week, actually. More, as I say, than, I mean, the net cord there, I'm just seeing her react. Oh, yeah, I'm just seeing the point, by the way. It's a lovely, lovely winner. She's very creative at times, I think, Coco.
She is, yes. I think her IQ, like her improvisational skills are pretty good, like mid-point as well. And I do feel like towards the end, she was just more solid mentally. You know, she just didn't make as many unforced errors. She was just very, very strategic about how she was playing this point, especially those higher loopier shots with no pace, just really getting Zheng out of her comfort zone. You know, Zheng, at times her feet froze in that tiebreak. I think she'll definitely want that tiebreak back. I was impressed with Zheng as well, you know, to get it to the tiebreak and save those championship points that she did. So it was a very good match in the end, very fun to watch, like just 2 players that just gave it their absolute all. But Coco just a little bit stronger, you know?
Yeah. So to run us through it, I said as we went into the tiebreak, or certainly as we went into the 5-6 game where she was serving to stay in the match, Zheng, that it almost felt like Zheng had lost the match twice. Why? Because she was up a set and a break and seemingly on her way to winning the title. She recovered from the mental, shock that would have been struggling with, I'm sure, going into the 3rd set, having seen that advantage go and Coco reel her in. But she goes up a break again and she's serving for the match. And that's really what will be the headlines, really, in terms of, how the match went from 15-love, serving for the match, I think, at 5-4, to ultimately seeing Coco go on to lift the title. Have they got Coco Gauff title-winning T-shirts? I'm not sure if her team have. I'm not sure I'd be too happy if I was Coco. I'm sure that they're just Coco Gauff T-shirts, but I wasn't sure if it was like World Tour Finals winner. But yeah, I mean, Zheng, just to coming back to her, Vanch, it was tough to watch in the end because I do think that despite Coco's heroics there at times, sometimes Coco was just waiting for the error to come.
Yeah, I do think particularly in that 5-4 game where she served for it the first time and she won the first point, went up 15-love. I think she was handed a few gifts there in that game for sure and didn't have to do a ton to make her way back into it, like to break for 5-all. That was just Zheng feeling really, really nervous serving out the big title, biggest of her career.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think Coco also, then Zheng had a break point as well in that game and she made 3 unforced errors in a row there as well. Then I have to give Zheng a ton of credit for getting it to the tiebreak. And then, of course, you have the start of the tiebreak, which is very crucial because Coco wins that first point and then she makes a few returns back into play. But ultimately, like, yeah, it was just like her competitiveness, her grittiness. This was by far not her best match of the week. I mean, like the spell that she had in this match from 3-all to like 3-6, 1-3 was just, a lot of backhand errors for her, like way more than we're used to seeing. It was not a clean performance by any stretch. But towards the end of both sets, I mean, she was just the more reliable player, the more sturdier one. She was more patient in terms of how she constructed the points. Very clever as well, how she went about it, and just like trusted her own fitness and this, like, very, very strategic. So I think at the end, like, she was a worthy winner. But and it also helps also that this title run will be boosted by the fact that she did beat the world number 1 and 2 along the way. So,
Coco had the same question as Brazy, by the way. That's what she was. I think she spoke to the umpire at 6-love. And
wow.
That's
I'm
what.
surprised. That's crazy. Yeah. I thought this was maybe just, only a slam thing, that we played a final set tiebreak.
So I posited this notion basically just as that match point was playing out that I don't know. I've had the feeling this week that she's playing better even than she was in that North American swing, largely because I'm seeing her beat players of this caliber back to back, like Iga and Arena, but then also today against Qinwen in different fashions. I know she was phenomenal during that stretch, but she would have beaten Iga in Cincinnati and she would have beaten Arena in New York. And of course, Mukova in the semi-final as well. But I don't know. It just feels like I'm going into these matches now with Coco, not seeing her as the underdog, if that makes sense. I'm seeing it as being a 50-50, or I'm seeing her as the favorite. Whereas, partly maybe because of the way she plays the game, I sort of feel as though she's sort of fighting to stay with these players. But not now. Not now. She's here. And yeah. I don't know if that rings true, or you maybe you disagree, but whatever your thoughts are on that, Vanch.
No, I think I do go into these matches feeling like you do feel like pretty assured that like she's gonna at least make it really competitive or beat them, like against anyone in the world. Where it's like, I don't know if I felt like that 15 months ago at the U.S. Open.
Right.
I kind of was still going. There was still the question mark, like, okay, is she going to be able to do it in a major, in that really big setting? With all the eyes on her, and was she going to like kind of keep it going? I think the fact that she did go through those ups and downs this year with the double faults and the various issues, like that spell between, I guess, post Roland Garros till the end of the U.S. Open was like not good for her really. And I think just the work that she probably did to like get back in shape like the next 4 or 5 weeks, and then hiring the new coach with Matt Daly, like just figuring out a few things in her game when it comes to her forehand and her serve, like, yeah, it has reaped the rewards, and we see it now over the last 3 weeks. I mean, she lost just that one match to Sabalenka in Wuhan, where she was up 6-1, 4-2, and kind of like, was going to win, no doubt. Like, even if she only hit like 15 double faults instead of 21, she likely would have won.
Yeah.
So I just think, yeah, like this could be big, like going into next year. Maybe she wins another slam next year. It's possible.
Yeah.
Because and now, for instance, there was a time where like I didn't really want to watch Coco Gauff and Iga Swiatek matches anymore because you kind of just knew what was going to happen. But now I come into this Australian Open like, okay, Coco Gauff versus Iga Swiatek. Like, I want to see it now.
Yeah. No, definitely. Just a word on Qinwen as well. I obviously should be feeling pretty or very disappointed right now, but it's been a huge step forward for her this year, making the final today, winning the Olympics, of course, and also her first Grand Slam final back in Australia. I actually probably am a bit bigger on her than maybe even you and Damien. I was just listening to you earlier when you were sort of talking about her potential, I think in response to a question at the beginning of the show, comparing her potentially to Jannik Sinner in terms of her maybe having a breakout year or another step forward like Jannik has had this year on the men's side. I don't quite see those levels from her, but I do see a slam sometime soon. I see another final, for example, and maybe if she can avoid playing Sabalenka, she can beat Iga on clay, for example. Not many people can say that.
Yeah, I think I'm excited about the clay swing for her because that's the one where, like, if she plays Iga at Roland Garros, like, I would be very interested in that match, because I do feel like she can beat a lot of players on clay. Like, maybe it actually will be Roland Garros if she wins this time. Maybe. I mean, like, it's not totally out of the question. But I just, the Sabalenka match, I still need to see a little bit more from her, in that head-to-head. Like 0-5 is a little bit like, besides the Wuhan where she was really boosted by the crowd and Sabalenka not really playing her best. I got to see a little bit more before I say she can win a slam, but it's possible if Sabalenka loses early, if she catches Iga on a little bit of an off day, like I could see it happening. But I definitely see like maybe another top 5 finish, maybe a kind of similar season to what she had today. I'm not quite sold on the whole Yannick Sinner thing because like Sinner showed us so much at the end of last year, like when he was beating Djokovic and Medvedev, and then you kind of like you had a feeling that okay, like he was the best player in the world, whereas right now there's still like she's just one of the best players in the world.
Yeah,
but she's
exactly.
in that peak.
Yeah, she is. By the way, I think this tweet from Renee is probably going into the tiebreak or maybe midway through it because she was obviously getting the same feeling that we had. I do think that we're lauding Coco and rightly so, but yeah, Qinwen, it's going to be a tough loss for her because of the advantage she had on a huge advantage. I mean, you're 3 points away from victory on your serve, and then I'll have to go back and check, but I'm sure she hit double figures for unforced errors in a very short space of time, probably double figures for across about 20 points, So it just felt like every point was ending with her either dumping it in the net or going long or going wide. There was one point where she was maybe a bit unfortunate because it clipped the net and then went wide. But yeah, anyway, big thanks, Vanch, for your expertise today.
Yep, thank you. It was a lot of fun. I mean, second longest final of the year as well. And
really? Was it?
Yeah, after the Madrid final, this is the second longest
okay.
the season.
Yeah.
And a way to finish it off with, 2 worthy finalists and pretty good storyline coming into 2025, excuse me, for both of them.
Okay, I like that it's up there in that respect. I like the fact that we did have such a nail biter for the end of the WTA sort of main tour season, if you like. I think there might be some 1-2-5s happening in the coming weeks in Latin America. And of course, we've got the Billie Jean King Cup. Also a reminder, of course, to stay tuned, hit the like button and subscribe and all that jazz. Make sure you check out Vanch on Twitter at Vanch2K.
Yeah, Vanch V2K.
Okay, what does that mean, by the way? The P2K.
Okay, like, V is just my last name, Vermani, and then 2K is 2000, the year that I was born.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, do that, and obviously follow us on Twitter and Instagram too at Talking Tennis TT. And yes, stay tuned because in about little under half an hour we'll have Damien and Mario bringing us ATP Weekly. Tomorrow as well we'll have a watch along for the Medvedev Fritz match. We may even do a watch along for the second ATP Finals match, and sandwiched in between we will have WTA Weekly tomorrow with Nick and Renee Stubbs. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and you know the drill. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.